everyone, and welcome to the NUEL Winter 2021 broadcast. I am Takua, and I am joined by the amazing Midnight Maverick tonight for a best of three with the Varsity bracket. How are you doing, How are you doing, Maverick?
I am so ready to get into this one. We have our we have our teams that are just fighting to get into varsity now. We have 4 spots remaining, 8 already secure. We are raring and ready to go. The winner of this game secures a spot for spring.
They do indeed, of course. These games are very important today. Should be the LSE Leviathans Team 1 versus the Bristol Mandem. It is worth noting that it is not the be-all end-all that the win comes out today. They still have another chance to qualify through varsity, but of course, if you win this best of three now, you're already in there.
That's right. Of course, you do have the double elimination bracket, so there is another chance. I think both teams, talking to them beforehand, very confident about their chances. Both thinking that they can make it into varsity. And if we look at Bristol and examine them, it's amazing that we already have Bristol Warriors in the prize playoffs, already securing playoff spot, and now this Bristol Mandem team looking to secure 2 spots for Bristol University, something only Warwick is able to do in the past with their academy team.
Yeah, definitely unheard of for other teams, and then NUEL will be a piece of history if they manage to take the win today against LSE. So, in terms of this matchup, I mean, the team should be quite evenly balanced, as you've said. I mean, obviously, a bit of different pro. I think we've talked about Bristol maybe having more of a bot side focus, whereas LSE want to play through their superstar jungler this game, and we'll see how that plays out as the draft develops. Of course, there'll be still some time before we get into Champ Select, so just to refresh everybody, we are in preseason. It is not the first day of the patch as it was a few times ago. A little bit of stuff has developed so far. So some items to watch out for would be, I don't know, mate. What do you think, Maverick?
I mean, if we're not looking in the mid lane at looking at that broken ass crown of the shattered queen, then I don't know what we're talking about, because this item is a little bit overtuned, to say the least. Often seeing that on champions like Victor, just able to go into an early cosmic drive as well, and you can't burst down these targets. And Cassidy is one that's just been just seen so much play. If you've been watching any of the streamers, you're seeing this crown Fimble Winter, and you just become this unkillable annoyance in the mid lane. And Crown, I expect to see that item today. Obviously, if you've played a lot of solo queue recently, Markers, and it's not pleasant if a Nocturne never gets ahead on that, because he's ulting you 3 times a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes even. So yeah, very, very unpleasant item choices, thanks to preseason. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the new Drakes?
New Drakes, well. I mean, the souls are a little bit overtuned, to say the least. Um, the spawn rates for them will go down. The next patch is going back to
Yes, of
normal, but
course.
I think there does need to be some tuning on that. I don't know if the cloud Drake bug is fixed now or not. Whether they still have the extra stats tacked onto the ability haste as like a hidden thing, but I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll see how it develops
Yeah,
with pro play coming back in a few months' time.
yeah. I think the Chemtech Drake that gives you like huge invisibility zone. Invisibility is just such like a strong and unpleasant thing to play against in Legends zones, like behind back. It makes it very difficult. If one team gets ahead, they just can't get that vision in there without pink boards. I mean, we all know how easily cleared. Yeah, a very, very unpleasant Drake. And then if that wasn't enough, you the Sion passive, so everyone coming back to life afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely cause some problems there with that team fights. I mean, some of the games that I've played, I've not played too much of preseason, but I think I had one earlier where you trade 1 for 1 against a champion, they come back with full health, and then they're able to do so much damage. So trading is so much harder when they have that soul, at least. Not sure how that's gonna get fixed in future.
absolutely. I mean, I guess while we're here, we can talk about where we think Bristol's main focus is going to be. Because if we look at their team members, we have Nibbles and Benexus, right? They're both turning Bristol Whipped last year, and Bristol Whipped obviously won team. So I expect that bottom lane to really be the focal point of this team.
Yeah, definitely trying to play through that into the bot lane of LSE Dog and Tag Zenith on the other side, who, whilst they are solid, aren't quite have the pedigree that Bristol do, or at least from what we've seen so far. But what LSE do have is their jungler. Now that'll be an interesting matchup to see play out. Any thoughts on that one?
I mean, it's a very much a case of put all your eggs in the jungle basket because this guy is a monster. We're just going to see him pick a talent, sorry, an early a jungle carry pick and just try and bowl over the enemy team. Challenger player, played for TDC Esports, and I think they're in the second division of the Spanish league. He if he gets ahead, potentially we could see an early stomp. But we'll have to see how he's able to coordinate with the rest of the team. Potentially with a Shen, protect him if he's left, or maybe we'll see some support. So he can just run down the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Again, just going back to draft, definitely important there to see exactly what the priorities are for both teams as champion identity does shape that. We are still waiting on a few things for champion select, so it shouldn't be too long right now. Um, okay, it should be about 5-10 minutes from what I can see here. So shouldn't keep you waiting for too long on that one. Okay, should be cutting to a break in one moment as we get a few things set up, so we will see you shortly. Welcome back, everyone. We're just sorting out the rest of Champ Select. Hopefully, didn't keep you too long there. Just a few more minutes as we get the final setup sorted. Shouldn't be too long.
Yeah. So if we look into the London team, sorry, the Bristol team here, and look at their mid laner, Bonks. Now, this guy is very prolific on one channel. Everyone's nightmare. Everyone's worst nightmare, and no one wants to play against Zoe. So I think we're just going to see a ban here today. And can he step it up? Can he? What champions other than Zoe is he very prolific on? Right? Are we going to see? I think that's just. It's going to be a big test. It's going to be a big test for Bristol and seeing how he can do in the mid lane.
Definitely a test to look at that in the draft in a moment. In the meantime, of course, December the 1st, which means the new Twitch student League of Legends drop is out, of course, giving the RP and everything else to come with it. That is now available. Go on Twitch and claim that if you haven't already. It's actually really juicy now that they're giving RP away with these as well. Actually, it's I think my account's like stockpiled up from last time, so I'm sitting pretty on that.
Yeah, as long as I get an actual decent skin this time, maybe a legendary one. Come on, Riot, give me one. I keep getting these random icons that I don't need, skins that I already have. Yeah, come on, Riot, give me a decent one from one of these capsules.
I mean, I got Stargun and Syndra. I was quite happy with that. I haven't actually got one yet. I like probably say it's my favorite Syndra skin actually. So out of the selection of Syndra skins, which I actually don't think. I don't know. I don't think she has like the best skin
I
selection.
quite like Justica. I think Justica is quite a nice one,
Yeah.
quite a smooth one. And then, yeah, I think the Star Guardian one's nice as well. But some of the original ones are quite old now, aren't they? Like Atalanta.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
they have quite nice effects on them, I think.
Favorite skin in the game?
Well, as a Yorick main, I'd probably have to say it's Pentakill Yorick.
Let's go Yorick.
The new
Yeah,
Pentakill
that's a
Yorick
solid
one is
choice.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's got some. He hasn't got many skins, but the skins he does have, very very nice. You get a nice maiden as well, and some of the chromas on there. Can't complain.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure actually what mine would be. I mean, as a Felios OTP, I sort of am inclined to say one of his skins, but honestly, I'm not like too sold on them. Probably like I don't know, Dark Cosmic Jin's good.
Oh yeah, I think Jin just thematically as a champion is just such a good champion. I hope in the next season of Arcane, I know he might not. Telling his story would be so interesting to see. We've already seen Jinx, we've seen Vi, we've seen Singed. It's so nice seeing all of these champions' origins, and I hope we get that for Jin as well.
I mean, Jin, you never know actually, because we had the whole Jin Camille shenanigans going on with the theater. For those of you that like know a little bit about lore and everything, I mean, they had it in the cinematic a few years back as well. That was really cool actually. But Jin is really well designed champ. Again, a bit biased, as well as being a Jin player. But
Yeah, I'm sensing a lot of ADC coming in here, a
mm,
lot of you must be happy with the current state of bot lane because these items in the bot lane, they are killer. With shield bow especially, I know that is the most frustrating. Anyone that's not an ADC to deal with, I can't burst you anymore because you just have these impossible shields to deal with all the time. Really unpleasant to play against.
yeah, definitely. All right, Champ Select's getting done now, and we do have a little selection of the roster here. Obviously, Nick, Born This Way 7, Hi, 1029, LSE Dog, and Tag Zenith for the LSE side. And for Bristol, we have Macro, Addis, Doom, McDiba, Bonks, Benuxas, and Nibble.
Yeah, for me, I think we've already kind of talked about the main points of both teams, but I really want to talk about this top lane because both of these players, well, Nick especially, is a huge weak side player. He plays the Mundo, he plays the Shen, plays Cho'Gath, Ornn.
Yes,
You
thanks.
expect to see him, yeah, we expect to see him on this. What can you pick up to kind of remedy this, and or what can you dive him with? How can you just stop him from farming safely under his or will you just match it with another tank?
Yeah, definitely. That might be something to do with jungle influence here. We might be looking at something to do with that. We'll go back to the jungle matchups. It does look like we should be champ select in a moment. A bit of focus on that as the jungle might be able to influence the top lane. As we do see the Zoe getting banned immediately by LSE.
Yeah, you can't let Bonks have this champion. He's got. I mean, if you look at the last 3 seasons, well over 1,000 games on this champion. You just can't let people have comfort picks, and I think it's what that comes down to in NUEL, right? We're not quite at the professional level, so you expect to see people default to their comfort champions, and these are is always a great strategy. And then second ban here, Lee Sin, obviously a staple jungler. If you're a jungler, you're just kind of expected to play him.
Yeah, I think I saw a statistic the other day with, I think, Lee Sin being the most popular champion within the Challenger Master bracket at the moment. And it does make sense, especially this last season, given the fact that it was, I mean, played in top as well as jungle so much. Xin, of course, banned out on Bristol, and Lulu and Ken and some Yordles there from LSE. Good to see the priority on these jungle champions for Bristol.
Yeah, two of these already out of the trifecta from Worlds. We had Lee Sin, we had Xin Zhao, and Lee Sin and Lee Sin kind of bruises with these Gore Drinker builds, and then another one from Jarvan as well. So you really want to take away Born This Way's ability to carry, is what we were talking about. He's the main, and they're directing all of the bans straight at him. As we see a Jinx insta-locked from.
How do you stop a carry? You ban out their champ pool. That's just the way you do it. Yes, the Jinx first pick, of course, Jinx being the hyperscaling AD carry that we all know and love, especially after the last series that's just been released. As we do see the Ash hover on the other side for Benuxus.
I like this as a response, fairly standard, right? Ash just gives you so much utility with that arrow. The question is, what are we going to pair it with? Is it going to be these kind of roaming supports? Are we going to see a Leona? Are we going to see those sorts of picks? As we see a Caitlyn as well. So I wonder if that's an Ash support.
Yeah, in theory, we should have proxy picks for this, so there is potential for this Ash to go actually turn into a different champion entirely. But it could well be in that support role, of course, being able to provide the W and the R here, as Born This Way might be looking to lock in his signature talent.
Hey, a little bit risky picking Talon this early in the draft, but obviously, it's one of his stable champions. He thinks kind of accelerate his lead in the early game, will he go for a Gore Drinker, just kind of sustain his way through any damage? Full burst, Eclipse, Yumu's, all of these lethality items. I do expect to see that, especially when you pair it with the And the Shen pick does exactly that. Great dive partner for the Talon.
Yeah, being able to set up tower dives maybe in the bot side to try and contest this bot matchup, which should be, honestly, a lot of the action in this game should be directed in that bottom side of the map, as we have Benuxus and Nibble, of course, being a very historic, proficient bot lane as we go into the second ban phase of the Karthus for Akis is locked in.
I like the Karthus here. Ak is very proficient on this, and it just says, I don't want to ever fight this Talon. I just want to farm out. I want to get my base levels, and I'm gonna ult whenever. I think it's a really great pick, and we need some of that ability power on their team, right? And I think Karthus is just such a prolific pick. He clears the jungle so quick, and one of the pains with Karthus is crab spawn. You don't do that anymore. You don't have to fight for these crabs with the new changes. So you can just go ahead full clear, and that's all Karthus.
Yeah, AFK full clear into AFK full clear until you get those AP values, bring out the Requiem in a team fight. And obviously, this does mean that LSE have to try and build some more AP MR items to be able to sort of fight against that. Lissandra and Lux in the second round for Bristol, trying to target out some of this mid lane. Again, another point of contention between Bonks and Hi.
Yeah, and we see an Urgot ban as well. One of Macro's just comfort picks. I know he's been spamming it in the preseason, and it has really good matchups into tanky champs as well, right? You just go this Titanic Hydra. You can go either Gore Drink or Thunder, and you just chunk people, and in combination with the Fear Beyond Death, and can be really really grim. Anyone that's played against Urgot in solo queue and A round. So I'm glad that they banned that out, and they do opt for the Ornn. So it's going to be a tank, two tanks, a wet noodle fighting, and it's just going to be bashing on each other's skulls the whole game.
You say it's a wet noodle fight, but both of those champions are actually quite proficient at killing each other with the percent damage from Shen and the amount of damage from Ornn's Brittle in the other direction. As we do see the Kassadin coming in. Interesting to opt for this here. Very short range so far, but does abuse those new items indeed.
Yeah, let's dive into this top matchup a little bit more, right? Because Ornn, he's not as strong as he used to be, right? He can't get all of this gold from these items anymore. Remember, and Shen can just kind of beat away him, and he really has the priority in the lane. And I think it's on him to just make these TP plays in combination with his jungler, in combination lane. He's going to have the priority all day long in that lane. So it's up to Act to see if he can potentially get an early kill up there if Shen does overextend.
Yeah, of course. So just remaking champ selects at the moment for everyone involved. Obviously, looking like some of those are proxies, maybe that Ashe in particular, the champ select is being remade right now, so we'll be able to see these full teams momentarily in order and in role order.
Yeah, there's the Shen, Ornn, and Karthus once more coming through. I fully expect the Talon to be picked as well. Yeah, there it is. I wonder what the pick was here instead of the Ashe. So there's a Kassadin as well. So Shen has two great
Ah,
targets. So it was a LeBlanc.
yeah, interesting. I'm not sure if that was something that they were aware of, maybe team captains. So I'm imagining team captains did communicate with each other to make sure that each other did know exactly what was going on with that. But Kassadin LB matchup is one I've seen a lot in solo queue. Personally, I don't think it should ever be cast in favoured, but I don't know what your opinions are on that.
Yeah, Kassadin, as ever, he just wants to get to level 16. And what does Crown enable him to do? He's going to pick up that Fimber Winter as well. And it's just not fun if you go late into this game, although you do have the. But Kassadin on an Aphelios' face, he's not going to be able to do damage.
Yeah, interesting there with the Ferris locked in. Obviously, very short range team. That's the Ferris. Ferris thrives into short range comps, should be able to do quite well. Shen does throw a sight spanner with the W, but in all, it's actually not a bad game for that champion. as we do have Braum as a support pick. So this bot lane of Bristol completely different to what we did see in the first champ select. Now, looking at it again with the Aphelios and the Braum actually locked in versus this Jinx Leona, what are your thoughts on the direction that this matchup will go?
Aphelios loves to be paired with these defensive supports, right? We saw it so much at World with the Lulu and another kind of Braum. He loves this protection, and he's going to need it. He's going to need Braum's protection. So much dive on the side of London here, and who's going to protect him? It's all down to Braum, and he just has to try and deny so much of this engage from. So look out for his ultimate, his Glacial Fissure in these team fights. Look out for the Ornn ultimate as well. That can be used as a really, really nice
Yes, able to play a massive role in these team fights. Definitely be watching out for those. Of course, obviously, we are just getting into game. Spectator delay just coming through in a moment. Still a few minutes before we load on to Summoner's Rift. Of course, proud to say that today's games, of course, is best of three being sponsored by SteelSeries, award-winning gaming gear. With the Amazon Prime student discount, much like the Amazon Prime capsules for League today, and of course, brilliant Intel 12th Gen, very high performance CPUs from them.
Yeah, and I guess it's important to just take a moment to shout out our casters from last Greyheart and Malvin Isle. Both of these casters are so experienced within this scene. They've done so many NUEL editions now, and I just want to see them go further. And they just did such a great job last. I really, really hope we can see them, do some more masters or maybe even go for LSE in the future. We'll see, but I just think they've been such good, guides for us, and I just really think it's important to shout them out.
Much love indeed, and definitely echoing all of that behind. Very looking forward to what might happen in the future with the two of them. Very good broadcast last week, of course. So, I mean, Summoner's Rift, we've seen it many a time. Should be coming in soon.
Who are you
Start
favouring?
of, oh, I don't know. I mean, this draft is, I mean, it looks like a skirmishy game to me.
It
Got some
does.
very sort of brawly picks almost. I mean, Caston getting in there will be with the mobility. If Elos wants to play short range, should be quite a lot of action today, I think.
Yeah, I would not want to be a Felios into Shen, Talon, Kassadin, and then a Leona with all the stuns as well. I don't want. Yeah, you can see how
Not
difficult it can
Lockdown.
be, right? You can see how difficult it can be to pick a Felios, but if he can get this damage down, if he can stay alive with the help of Braum, and it's gonna be a win condition for the side of Bristol.
Yeah, potentially. Both teams having hyperscaling ADs here with Jinx and Affairs, respectively. Um, Late game insurance on both of them, Caston scaling up. So, I mean, you have the Carthus equally. So, I think the scaling is actually quite matched there. Well, what matchup do you think is maybe going to be the most important between these champions? Like, what's going to be a decider between them if one person gets an advantage?
I think you have to look at jungle here. Talon, Karthus. If Karthus can safely scale, can safely farm, that's just. But Talon, I don't think he's going to let you get away with that. I think he's going to go an all-out invade, and if Leona can be there to put some stuns in, Karthus can have a very unfortunate time. And we were looking at the carry beforehand this way, challenger play. Everything is he's so enabled. He's so enabled by the rest of his team. I think that's where you have to look.
Yeah, early game macro is the priority here. Seeing where these players try and prioritize. I mean, I imagine there could be well some invades. I mean, if we remember from a few weeks ago, uh, an early invade always proving disastrous, but the result of the game turning out a bit different.
Definitely, but here we are, both teams vying for a varsity spot. The winner of this game secures their spot. Right, there's only 4 spots remaining, and you want to secure it now. You don't want to have to play another best of 3. So we will see who will win: Bristol, Mandem, or will it be London Leviathans?
Yeah, of course. All the more pressure to put on another best of three if you don't manage to get this one in the bag. So a lot of pressure on both teams, and even more potentially in the future, as we do seem to be loading onto Summoner's Rift now. Still, we'll take some time to make sure that we are all synced up in a moment. Uh, Any particular runes that you're looking? I mean, I see fairly generic here. Maybe standout would be the first strike.
Yeah, first strike, very, very confident pick. You usually kind of expect Conqueror, right? Just to try and heal if he does elect for the Gore Drinker build. But first strike, very, very confident. How many times is it? So let's go as we're just syncing up now.
All right. Shen's pretty solid.
Santa Brom getting in the mood for the Christmas period.
Oh yeah, December 1st.
It's such a good skin. If you've ever played this skin, just whacking away on people with your giant chimney. Oh, they're going for a potential early invade here. Braum really, really strong. Maybe one of the strongest in lows that down on. So potentially a late invade here. So I wonder if Jinx can spot this out.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how it plays out. Jinx positioning. 5-man in this little bush down in the bot side of the river. We do see the ward being set up in the top lane by...
Minions have spawned.
What? Are they going to go for this invade still? They're
Oh,
waiting around a
sure.
long time. Oh, Jinx does
Here we go,
spot
taking
it
a
out.
lot.
First blood.
But I think you're losing another life in this Leona as a
All
lot
out
of damage
Fiesta.
is coming through. I mean, a few autos. There we go. It's 2 kills for Bonks, but Born this way is now here. I mean, I don't know if he can get anything with this. Talon's still chasing. He's only level 2. He shouldn't have his E yet. I mean, this is absolute chaos. 2 minutes in the game.
This is looking like my rank games. Everyone just fighting out at level 1, trying to deny each as much as they can. But Cartha's just really, really doing well, and LeBlanc getting 2 early kills now. It's going to be hard for this Carthage to survive with this advantage that LeBlanc is able to amass already.
Yeah, I mean, even the bot lane right now, this is a massive early deficit for LSE. You're already 1 and a bit thousand gold down 3 minutes into the game. Of course, it's not the be-all end-all, but that's a very large early disadvantage.
Yeah, it's a large early disadvantage, and we'll see if they can come back though. They Kassadin, right? He is a scaling monster, and with this build, he's just seems so unkillable when you have. So can he get to this level? That is Kassadin, level 16. You don't want to play against this champion, but on the other side, they have Carthus. He is also a scaling monster. He can get this Requiem on, and that is not pleasant.
Definitely not. I mean, especially if you're behind now, you don't necessarily have the income to be itemizing those MR items, as Carthus is pathing towards the bot side. Vision set up for Bristol in that region, as we see the opposite happening for LSE trying to play in this top side a little bit more.
Yeah, and you can see the impact already of the Blanc here, right? She already has the Sork boots. She already has these Sork boots. And that's just so oppressive for this Kassadin already.
Yeah, of course. Let's see here. Okay, a lot of damage coming into mid. You do want to crash this wave, of course. So we'll see how that goes. bit of trading further from LB here. Might be able to snap up a solo kill. Getting very, very low. Tower shot will go back, and I don't think that's going to result in anything. Both players forced to back off here, as we do see a bit of the trade in top lane. But I think this mid right here, Karthus doesn't manage to connect the Skittles. Born this way, flash in QW, but he's just going to die to the Karthus. And that's another kill over to Bristol. Might be able to get a solo bowler on the top lane as this Born, but not quite able to connect that Brittle.
Yeah, Shen gonna be happy up here just to kind of chill now. He's got a CS advantage. Probably not want to trade away the rest of his health there, but it's a rough start for Talon, right? He has one of his buffs stolen away. You know, he gets early killed here in this 2. This is where we put all the eggs in the Talon basket.
Yes, a rough start for a carry jungler match, as we do see everywhere but this top lane losing. Weak side King Nick definitely living up to his name right now, but we'll see how this plays out for sure. I mean, you're in still 1.5 gold deficit. Karthus has got his lost chapter already, and he's clearing 30 farm up. LB's got Sork boots. Not looking great.
No, you don't want those kills to be on Karthus. You don't want him to get to this late game. He's well on his way there, and the mid lane 2v2 is just so in the favor of Bristol here, and it's on London to try and find a way back in.
Boy, he did manage to get that scuttle just barely, but we will note, of course, that is the Mountain Drake over to LSE. Very important that they get these Drakes to be able to scale up further into the game.
Yes, definitely, and a Mountain Drake. A Mountain Drake is only going to serve Caston and Shen. We know how Caston is building already, but I think it's a really underrated Drake. Just some of these early resistances early on, or even late into the game, it can actually be quite a nice factor. We see a LeBlanc trade.
Yeah, Rift walk straight out. That one nice hit level 6. Has that safety in lane, being able to teleport all over the place. As for CS deficits, I mean, lead in the jungle, lead in the bot lane, actually even a mid, which is surprising, and a lead for LSE in the top lane.
Yeah, Shen, as like we talked about in Champion Select, right? He has so much priority. He's one of the few champions that can actually trade blow for blow against one. It feels like. I remember when this champion first came out. Well, Shen is one of those with that % damage from his Q, right? And yeah, he's just able to secure
Flash Zenith Blade flashed away by Aphelios, trying to look for Nibble now. Won't be able to tag the Zap, and that will be Braum's flash as well. Both flashes gone from the Bristol bot lane.
Double flash, and that's huge there from the side of London, right?
Bonks.
Okay, just says hello.
Talon going back in, going down to half health. Can Hi get there in time? Riftwalk E, flash out from Bonks. I think the distortion is enough to get himself out of there, as we do see the Shen TPing back up to top lane.
There's so much happening. Both these teams going all out. Okay, nice little trade there from the Shen. Yeah, both summoners blown from the side, on the side of Bristol. So the next gank that comes in that direction, it's going to lead to some kills. They're unfortunate not to. But both of them flashing away. But you can see already what this team wants to die. I've died. And that is what Shen and Talon are good at doing.
Yeah, tower diving is the name of the game this game, potentially, as we do see the Graviton route coming out. Nothing more should come off of that. Born this way, pinging that. Herald might be trying to make a play out of that, perhaps get plates cashed in the top lane. As for the gold, I mean, still roughly the same lead, but of course that kill going to LSE earlier definitely helps to remedy that. So we do see Tag getting a lot of damage, concussive blows, will get procced.
Yeah, he's not going down anytime soon. The owner's been such a constant champion in pro play, right? We've seen her all the time. She's just such a staple bot laner. It's the resistances from the W that you get, right? It's just gives you so much inherent time at such, she's only level 5 and
Yeah, as we do see Born this way taking an awful lot of damage in top lane, we'll be able to leap out there. Shadow Assault, Ornhorn coming down, bolts with the roam, and he's just in no man's land, diving over wall after wall after wall. Can he get out of here? Will he be able to get an execute? We will find out as Bristol goes on a bit of a wild talent hunt. Requiem coming through, that might just secure the kill, and Bonk will land the finishing blow there. Another kill over to this mid lane, who is now 3-0. Oh! Midnight Vigil! I don't think you can get that. Gets very low. Zenith Blade in. I'm not sure he wanted to do that. And, okay, Crescendo not quite enough. High coming in here. Exhaust immediately with the cleanse in response. A lot of damage on the Aphelios, but he does red white. He's life stealing up here. Okay, kill will go through, and I think that will be a secondary coming into this. Kassadin will be a double kill for High. Very close fight there, and perhaps a slight overextension from the Bristol bot lane.
That is absolutely huge for Kassadin, but you saw how close to Aphelios were, turning that around and getting triple kill there. Kassadin just excelling, and that's what you want. You want 2 kills, and that's so huge. It's so accelerated already. And what's he going to translate into? Okay, early amp tone into the tier, a little bit more scaling here. But 2 early kills for him, really good.
No, I know I'm not the color caster here, but I am basically an Aphelios OTP. And I have to say that if he didn't spec Lethal Tempo, if he had Conqueror or PTA, they would have won that trade. As we do see a trade coming back into mid lane as Kassadin's forced to flash out of that one.
Both, yeah, I mean, we're just seeing so much domination here from the side of Bristol.
On this way, I'm not sure that's where you want to be. Oh my word, the Shen Shield. Okay, that's a lot of health coming back in. Now it's Karthus on low health as Braum gets taken down by LSE. Dog going golden now, but you're in no man's land. You get shut down by Leona as Born this way does eventually get cut down by Bristol. Bonk is on a rampage. Ornhorn coming through. Crescendo not enough this time. Somehow lands that Zenith Blade. I'm not sure if that was really the hitbox there. Solarflare coming down onto Orn will take a beating from 3 members of LSE. Dash back, but it's not enough. We'll be able to get a Brittle on. Maybe Bonks can trade. No, he dies, and that's a shutdown for the Gatsby.
Oh, absolutely huge for London here. They completely turned the game, and they're going to convert it into another. 2 more kills. 2 more kills for this Kassadin. And he's being propelled already to that level.
Hang around here. Problem is, you have very low health bars. You will secure this Drake, but your Braum, your Leona even, will go down in return to this Braum and Karthus. As we do see that Chemtech Rift, this new invisibility zone, might cause some further shenanigans in what is already a very chaotic game.
This is what we talked about in Champion Select, right? The Shen and the Talon in combination with each other, and even the Shen in Kassadin as well. Just in that trade.
I think that's okay. So you know, superstar jungler. I'm not sure if that was the 200 IQ player you're looking for.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of a rough game, but it's okay because Kassadin is ahead. And what do we want? We want a level 16 Kassadin, and that's what we're heading towards. He's going to be such a fundamental part of their win condition. In combination with the Shen, if you can't, you're going to teleport on the Kassadin.
Yeah, I mean, this Aphelios doing this thing, cashing up plates for the Crescendum. There will be 2 plates donated over to the Bristol bot lane. Good amount of gold. However, after that complete fiesta of a fight around the Drake, the gold lead is actually dead even. But of course, LSE does have the double Drake here, so they are heavily favoured at the moment in this game state. Of course, only 13 minutes, still a lot to be decided, as we do have the next Drake coming up in a few minutes' time. I imagine lane states should remain roughly the same at the moment, but I mean, this game has been very chaotic, so I'm not sure about that one. Items-wise, we are seeing a lot of champions filling up their mythics. Karthus, of course, just picking up that Leandri's Anguish. Ludens for the LB. A Crown on the Kassadin, as expected. And the Kraken Slayer for Jinx. Hopefully, Co-caster is back now.
Yes, I am back. Sorry, I'm aware that my mic has been coming out a little bit. So I'm just trying to fix that. But
We do see another fight coming out here. Hi in the middle of nowhere. Will be able to trade 1-for-1 as he does get killed here. Born this way, trying to get a kill onto Bonks before he gets killed by the Requiem himself. LSE dog with the autos. Moonlight Vigil going wide. He'll pop by the dog. And he will get out. However, Bonks in this bush. Looks like he might just channel the recall. Distortion over, and I mean, this is LeBlanc for you. Just a lot of damage. 5-1 and 5 now, and that will put the gold lead in favor of Bristol now.
yeah, and we talked about how potent the dive combo was going to be into Aphelios, but we didn't expect the Jinx to just be really struggling with LeBlanc. So accelerated. 5 kills, and 5 kills on the jungler as well. And Karthus is just so accelerated here. Already has this Leandria, already heading towards both of them. Already heading towards.
Yeah, heading towards them mythics. Indeed, I do believe you cut out again for me, but that's fine. Just leave me for the time being. Yeah, definitely. Head LB. I mean, we saw it at Worlds a while ago, but I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it in their own games. You don't want to play against the Head LB. Magic Pen with the Lude, and she will 100-0 you in 0.1 seconds. I mean, it's just really infuriating to play against, especially if you are that Jinx. You will take a lot of damage, you will get popped, and there is nothing you can do about it unless you have that flash button available. It does look like Bristol will try and get this mid turret. Yomu's coming through. I think this is just to dissuade the play, clear out the wave, can't cash in the turret.
Yeah, not too much siege here from the side of Bristol, right? It's difficult. It's difficult for both teams to siege it, really. As we see a little bit of a trade in the top lane. But Shen continuing to get this advantage. Oh.
Okay, maybe an overstep. Going back in, will be exhausted. Able to dish out a lot of damage to this Karthus. Maybe LSE could chase. Flash Riftwalk in. Hi, slaying. Maybe able to get another kill onto the Swarm. See if Leona can find the Zenith Blade. It does connect. Massive from Zenith. Living up to his name indeed there. However, Bonk will get a kill in Bolt size. Moonlight Vigil flash forward from Orm, stunned up. Will be trinket out. Bonks on the side. Nick able to dash away with the assault and then flashing over the wall to safety perhaps. But this LB is still here and she should have W up in a moment. Maybe going onto tower, getting stunned, exhausted. I don't think you have the damage as a Leona though. That will just be the kills in favor of Bristol for the most part. This LB is massive this game.
Blue team's turret has been
So where
destroyed.
Born this way is struggling a little bit this game. Hi is picking up the slack. 7 kills now with this Casting. Crown of the Shattered Queen completed. Tier almost stacked. He's becoming a monster. Yeah, Talon having a rough game, but I love that the rest of his team is stepping up and just really helping them out where they can.
Yeah, more like die this way 7 this game, as we do see the Drake dying. Likewise to the red team, Bristol being able to secure the first Drake of the game. Hi on the chase against this Santa here. We'll be able to dash over the wall. I'm not sure if he'll be able to get out. There is a lot of chase on LSE coming forward with that Mega Death Rocket coming through Ignite, and I do think you die to that tick. Born this way, able to get his first kill of the game.
Yeah, you can see how oppressive this Casting is though already with these rifts. 239 stacks on this tier now. As soon as he gets towards this Fimbulwinter, it's going to be great, but the Blanc here acting for a trade.
Bonk's coming in, Riftwalk through, Karthus there on the other side, will get stunned up, but there's just too much damage from this LeBlanc here, as Ornn might be dead in mid lane. Requiem coming through, might be able to secure the kill on the Talon, not quite enough damage, but that will be a 1-for-1 trade on both sides. Of course, Bristol favoured, given that Hi was very valuable.
Definitely, and that's the target you want to go for this game, right? You want to try and and you can see how well this LeBlanc is able to do like with the double chain.
This is so greedy.
Oh,
No way!
wow.
Rampage.
We'll die to minions there. Bonks, of course, securing another kill this game now. 8-1. Should be able to get next item soon. Looks like it will be it. I think that's Cosmic Drive, given the components. Bonks coming back in. Distortion again. Manages to get a Shadow Assault. Very nice, but a slow from Braum should allow this LeBlanc to secure His 9th kill of the game. One more auto. Yep, that's it.
Oh wow, LeBlanc just putting the team on her back. We talked about how prolific the Zoe player she was, but we did not realize how amazing the insane here. She's just taking over this game, and it's really a war of these. Oh, Serifs from the Cassidin completed. LeBlanc going into her second item now, and she's just running the map.
Yeah, Bonk's trying to put on his best Chovy impression right now in the game, as we do see the top lane turret going down on the side of LSE. So, more turret pressure. I think this is what Bristol really need. They should be able to try and secure some more Drakes now, as they have regained that gold lead that they did have earlier in the game. Bonks has now completed that Cosmic Drive that we're going on about, that stopwatch being completed into a Zhonya's for the Karthus, and Talon is sitting depressed there with not even a Mythic.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough game for Talon. I do expect him to come with the Eclipse. Didn't opt for the Gordring, but he's still going to be able to blow someone up potentially, right? If he can get this Mythic, he's still going to have so much burst power, but it's all up to the exhausts of the Karthus, and oh my, so much so far. It's just really rough, and one thing I want to draw attention to is Jinx. She is what we know as a hyper carry, right? Anyone that thinks of Jinx in League of Legends sees a hyper carry, and she opts for the Kraken Slayer. She thinks, Ornn, I just need to get through Ornn and get a reset, and it's going to be hard for her to do that with the LeBlanc on her face. Yes, she has the Hex Trigger. I just think it's a really interesting itemization choice as we see them start the Baron here.
And this Aphelios is going to melt this Baron with the Crescendo. I'm not sure if LSE might be able to respond in time. Health going down to 2,000. I do think Bristol should just be able to pick this one up. Let's see if LSE can make the turn on Horn Chaos as the Zenith Blade comes through with the Solar Flare. Health bars dropping low on everyone. It's a complete fiesta. I can't even keep track of who's dying. Requiem goes down. That's Born This Way and Nick dead. 4 members Bristol, 5 members of Bristol, and that is the ace for LSE.
Oh, nice try from Bristol, but an extremely costly Baron there. None of the members coming out with the Baron, and it's just domination there from London. Really, really nice plays, and you can see when Jinx is able to get these resets, she picks up what, 4 kills in that last fight. Just. She's going to be so accelerated now with all this gold injected. And both teams probably just going to look to reset. Sorry, the London team going to look to reset now for that Chemtech Drake if they can. But we'll see what Jinx is going to be able to come back with here. Probably completes that rapid fire and a good portion of her next item as well.
Yeah, reset, keep tempo, spend that gold, set up for the Chemtech Drake. Thing is, you are still 1k gold down, but a lot of that gold did just go into some of your carries there for London, so definitely where the gold needs to be. But Bristol have the setup. They should have the vision control in this river. Any thoughts on that, Maverick?
Well, I mean, they just really want to. They really want to deny this third Drake here. You want to try and deny Soul Point as much as you can, especially with on the other side, right? As we see, you can see how easily he is. He didn't actually opt for that Fimbulwinter. He went for instead going for just as maximum damage here instead. I like the adaptation here.
Yeah, maybe being able to do that a little bit more damage. I don't think you need the Spire build. You just need to pop those targets, especially Bonks this game. Herald getting dropped, of course. That last Drake was secured by Bristol. Guardian going to prevent most of the damage from that super rocket from the Jinx. And that is that tower down. Bristol looking to push further forward.
Ooh, as we see the siege still coming through. Both teams so equally. 18 kills apiece.
Talon in the back, people starting to get CC'd. This Karthus might just be dead as he does put the stopwatch in time. Aphelios going down to Born This Way. LSE Dog on rampage as the Requiem coming through, shuts him down. Nibble getting very low, Caston flashing away. Very nice taunt from Nick. Bonk will be able to get the kill on the Caston here. Shen now in the thick of things, able to flash himself out of there, as that will be a 2 for 2, in fact, for both teams.
Tell you what, we've been talking about this Cassin and we've been talking about this Jinx, but Nick, he has been landing huge multi-man taunts in his team. I think he landed a 4-man taunt, another triple taunt there. Really solid, really solid Shen play.
Absolutely massive from Nick here. 1v9 all weak side king indeed on this ninja. 2-2 and 12, performing very well. Nice itemization with the MR, making sure that he can survive versus the heavy AP from the LB and the Karthus, of course. I mean, gold, relatively even now, even after that fight. Even trade, relatively even items. We do see that Born This Way is going for the more rather than the Eclipse finish. I'm not sure if that's the right thing.
Yeah, it's rough now because both Karthus and LeBlanc have their Void Staff. They're going to be through this magic resist. Oh!
Well, that's Talon for you. Just annihilates this LeBlanc, and I mean, this is a lot of map pressure relieved. I don't really think Bristol could do much about it. It's just a free kill.
Apparently, it doesn't matter how far Talon gets behind. He's just able to pick up that kill and get. It's such a key kill as well because LeBlanc has been such a menace this game, and if Talon can blow her up, it's so big here. He has 3 items now, getting to that point where he's going to blow up Athelios, he's going to blow up LeBlanc or Karthus. He has to choose one, right? And which is he going to choose? I think LeBlanc is.
Yeah, LeBlanc might be the priority, but you know, one thing I did remember that, you know, we've been talking about Talon dying all the time, but he has first strike. These deaths, I mean, if he does enough damage, he gets enough gold back. I mean, we're seeing this again. He's just going in for trades, trying to get as much gold as he can with this rune. So that's the 39 gold his bank. Just for like, what, Q, W, and some autos on the Zorn?
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of value out of it this game. It's not something you expect, right? You probably haven't seen that many Talons with first strike, but working out for him this game, and he's, you know, he's got the same items as the and half the kills. Yeah, he's. I mean, this is what we talked about. Even when he gets behind, he's able to his team back into the game, and it's just such an even game here already. And I'm up for more of this. Honestly, it looks like potentially we could be going to 3 games.
Yep, might be 3 games. I mean, this is a hell of a series so far with this first game of the day. I did just have a quick look at that first strike rune. Currently made 748 gold off of that. Quite a decent amount, but he's just going to have to Shadow Assault out of that one. I mean, that's an important cooldown coming down with this Drake spawning relatively soon.
He is hard to catch though. Both Talon and Cassin just slippery. Very difficult to pin down. So yeah, I want to see. We are going to get a Chemtech Soul, right? So you don't want to see a LeBlanc dying, coming back to life with another. Just so grim if you can get that soul. Really unpleasant to play against. And as we see, London this time prioritizing the Baron.
Purple Worm going down, going to 9k health. Ornn will blow the horn, coming Fritz 3 people, and that might be the engage that Bristol needed for this fight. However, these numbers are going down. High will die to the Moon Twink as he goes further forward. Ornn taking a lot of damage, flashing out of danger there. The rocket not quite enough to be able to secure that one down, but the hula hoop of death is just massive in this fight for Benuxus.
And Braum doing his job, pinning down and exhausting the Kassadin. And you can't do anything if you're stunned, you can't do damage, and Aphelios just going to rip apart this Baron.
Oh my word. I mean, the Baron's already dead, but you will lose 1 for it. Box will die in return. I don't think you can make it. Oh, he almost dies to that proc! I mean, that's Infernum Calibrum for you, although it might be a return trade of Born This Way coming through, but rookie mistake. You don't want to do that. Yep, lethal tempo, Calibrum, a lot of attack range. This is relatively late. He's almost got 3 items. He does a lot of damage.
It just feels... Oh.
Okay, we're just gonna get another fight. I mean, one after another. The Drake has spawned high in position, but you are 1v4 right now. Can you 1v4 is the question. Rift walking into Braum. Glacial Fisher coming back in return, but I do think this man with Calibrum Infernum. Moonshot almost up on cooldown. Can he land it? No, not able to get that one.
So close there, but Braum again, being the heroes. Win condition we talked in Champion Select. Aphelios, if he's alive, if he's able to dish out the damage on, it just seems so unplayable for the other side. And Talon really having a rough time getting in with the side of Bristol. I wouldn't want to be playing Talon into this double exhaust. It's just so hard to get in there.
Yeah, you jump in, they press one button, and suddenly you do 40% less damage. You have less move speed, and you don't really get to swipe at them very much. Very, very sad for the Talon players out there, especially this game. What is particularly noteworthy now, half an hour in, Ornn is level 15. He has given out 2 items to his teammates, that Leandri's upgrade and the Luden's upgrade for Karthus and LB respectively, being able to do a lot of damage with that now.
Yeah, all of the Ornn items just so gold efficient. So nice to have an Ornn on your team late. It's just so nice, even if he's not completely ahead, he can just empower your carries so much. And I love how he prioritized the as his first mythic. They're the champions that are doing the main AP damage in this team.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of damage coming through from those 2 players, Karthus and LB, and Bonks respectively, showing up this game indeed. As they're looking to get some more tower pressure, Born this way, just jumping in, jumping over, making the most use of that first strike, I guess, and dissuading the play onto this tower. That Baron Cannon does still survive though, and there are still 5 members in this top lane.
Yeah, Braum just being a menace, just stopping any engage from Talon. Talon having to burn his ult there just to dissuade this. Here comes another wave that looks like they're gonna after all.
Blue team's turret will get destroyed now. Moving forward, see if you could do any more. Your Baron buff has now just run out. Ornhorn coming through. Haunted up on the Karthus Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare respectively. Jinx managing to get the kill onto Bonks, but he should die to this Requiem coming through. Requiem absolutely massive in tandem with the Moonlight here as oh my word, he's diving in. Okay, a lot of damage coming back through from Born this way, leaping over a few walls there, but my lord, that Requiem demolished LSE.
So many summoners burnt there. That Requiem, you can see what the...
Okay, casting, getting rooted down, walking forward. One inhibitor. Can they get the game? That is the question that we have to ask. Will Bristol be able to secure this? We'll take down one Nexus turret, looking for more. Karthus clearing out the wave with the Defile. And I think they are going to back off. Play it safe and don't int the game.
Alan does have the chase potential though, right? He can chase them to the end of the earth and exactly in the end.
I don't think you win versus 4 people.
Oh.
Yeah, not sure about that one.
Yeah, a little bit ahead of his team there. Tries to make the owner going into 4, demolishing them, but you're just not that far ahead, unfortunately. And yeah, it's looking rough here now for as Karthus is in his element. He's picking up these last couple of AP items now, and it's not pleasant to play against this Requiem because you can have a favorable fight. Karthus can die, and he just Requiems you, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can't avoid that damage other than with the crown and the stopwatch.
And there's even less avoiding it now as Kiss does finish the big hat, that death cap coming through. This man currently has a massive AP total of 620 at this point in the game. It's just very, very hard to play into when your health bar gets annihilated across the map with a press of 1 button.
9-stack Dark Seal as well. I do wonder if he'll turn that into just for the pure AP values, but I do like the adaptation from opting, just saying, I've been bursted so much in these fights by these damn magic users on the other side. I need a spirit, I need resistors, I need to stop myself being blown up. And as he's trying to propel himself towards most likely a death cap himself, but he's not having the impact we want him to have. And this double exhaust is just proving so difficult for casting.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Definitely, we do see LSE managing to get a turret in the top side. Might be able to get an inhibitor, as it is just Bonks defending this. There will be an inhibitor. The rest of Bristol might be forced to back out here, but that is a Chemtech Drake. No, that's a Chemtech Soul, pardon.
Chemtech
Yep,
Soul.
that is Chemtech Soul. Now they're all gonna res.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that trade. Mid-inhib for Soul seems a little bit... I think Bristol definitely won out on that one, especially farm out that wave rate. Brief farm. So, yeah, it's a really, really grim style. We talked about it earlier. Blanc. Carthus. Carthus coming back to life and then being in his path. He's just going to be able to dish out so much damage.
This is pretty dire. I mean, the gold lead doesn't seem too bad, but the soul is in Bristol's favour. You're now clearing up vision in the top side. I mean, for me, this is Bristol favoured. What do you think LSE need to do to be able to win this game, potentially?
Oh, I mean, you have to flip a Baron, but here comes the engage.
Yeah, here it is. Ornhorn, Moonlight Vigil, Chakrams going out everywhere. Solar Flare shut down on the Shen immediately. Nick going down so fast. But the thing is, this Chemtech Soul is coming through. You cannot just trade for people. Requiem gonna get a triple kill, and I think that might have sealed the deal for Bristol.
Yeah, it's just so unplayable, this Chemtech Soul, because you kill them once, then coming back, and you barely have enough damage to deal with them the first time round, and really just going to steal a really close game here for Bristol, and they're most likely going to go up one game in this series.
I mean, what is this balance? Carthus dies once, gets rezzed into Chemtech Soul, and then he goes again from his Death-Defied passive, and then he gets to cast Zara afterwards. Actually, such a joke.
Yeah, Riot, what have you done with this preseason? Some of these seem a little bit overpowered when compared with their counterpart, as Castin tries to do stuff, but you just can't do anything. You just see the potency of a double exhaust. Cassidin and Talon cannot play the game, and then you're getting Requiemed every 2 or 3 minutes. It's so unplayable once you get to that point. And it's what we talked about. Born this way, if he doesn't, tough.
Yeah, that's absolutely a fiesta of game. Like, every minute there was a skirmish in one end of the map, panning to the next. Meanwhile, something else is going on somewhere. And then we have the chaos of this Chemtech Soul, these honestly LPL Goldgrass. I mean, we've had Bristol with a lead at some point, and then it gets flipped to LSE with that one Drake fight in the mid game. I'm nothing else to say but total chaos, honestly.
Really, really back and forth game though. I just want more of this. What other picks can we see here? What are we going to ban this game? And you can see that jungle focus really, really worked out for them.
Yeah, trying to prioritize jungle. It's definitely not the way that we expected to. I'm not sure exactly how both teams are going to adapt. It seems fairly good for Bristol with the current playstyle that they put in so far. Any opinions on how maybe LSE should adapt to the way that Bristol is playing, or even vice versa?
I'm just getting word that my webcam has... I've become some kind of mist monster. Not really sure why that's happened, but...
oh, I think you're back now.
Oh, I'm back? Okay, great. Yeah, you're just going to have to try and deny... you're just going to have to try and just really enable Born this way in the early games. It doesn't get... I think that's the win condition. You have to enable this jungler. He is the best player on your team. He is your win, and you have to draft towards him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw that coming through, the Talon being traditional carry jungle pick, but just kind of fell flat this game. I mean, he tried to abuse this first strike room, but not exactly sure how that turned out for him this game. We'll see as we go into Champ Select in the next game. Just going to have a quick 5-minute break as teams prepare. We get everything set up for the next game. We'll see you shortly. LSE 1 down to Bristol, Bristol being 1 up. Hello, welcome back to the NUEL Winter 2021 broadcast. Of course, returning with myself, Takua, and brilliant Midnight Maverick, whose camera is currently having some issues. We are fixing that at the moment. We'll have him back with us in picture shortly. Of course, this is the second game of today's best of 3 series, LSE Leviathans versus the Bristol Mandem. Bristol Mandem being 1 game up right now.
Yeah, I am still here, don't worry. But yes, a really, really close game from London and from London and Bristol here. And I just want to see more of the same, really. Both teams just really battling it out. And the one player we're going to be looking at, he had a rough game in the first one. It's got to be born this way. What other picks has he got? Is he going to go for that talent again? But it seemed so easily countered by the double exhaust from the side of Bristol.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking for these adaptations in the second game, seeing exactly what each team want to do given the experience in the first game. And I definitely agree with you there, Maverick, that this Talon is a bit of a point of maybe you want to try something different. Obviously, we did see 3 bans going in that direction: Lee Sin, Jarvan, and Xin. What sort of champion do you think he's going to go for now, given that the Talon didn't really work out?
If you're looking for a jungle champion to enable, I think you look for either of these two, Hecarim or Olaf, because these two champions can just run you down, and you can empower them with the likes of a Lulu, with the likes of a Karma, and you can enable it with the Shen if you can get that again. And it just, I like the dive combo that they went for. It just seems very easily countered by the double exhaust. So, and you can't exhaust an Olaf that's running at you, unfortunately, when he's got his ultimate on. So. We'll see how what he does actually go for.
Yeah, we'll definitely see shortly, as we are going to go into Champ Select very soon, getting everything set up. Both teams making sure that they're ready, everything's in the right place. You got your water, you got your resources, you got your PC on, and you got League of Legends client hopefully working, although Riot sometimes doesn't make that happen. And that is Champ Select loaded on my side, at least.
There's the Karthus taken away. Karthus taken away immediately. They're just saying, we do not want to deal with that Karthus, specifically twinned with that Ornn as well. It was just so disgusting. The Requiem just annihilating the enemy team. And really nice adaptation ban here, just saying we don't want to see that. You performed so well on it, we don't want to see it anymore.
I mean, just going back to these jungle bans. I mean, on both sides now. We saw in the first game, this jungle matchup is exactly what we want to look at. And Zoe coming back through for Bonks. LB was massive this game, so maybe we'll see that again.
Yeah, potentially. I do expect Bristol just to stick with the triple jungle bruiser bans here, really just wanting to deny Born This Way's effect and seeing what else he can answer with. We talked about it already. But obviously, yeah, the Zoe ban as well, really, really sensible here from that. But I don't know if they'll opt for the LeBlanc. I will be interested to see that. They do opt for the Kennen instead. So keeping 2 of their bans the same and adapting for the Karthus.
Yeah, trying to put some pressure on this top matchup. The Shen coming through absolutely massive this game. Last game from Nick performed very, very well, and that stayed on top lane, won the matchup. Just I sort of a silent carry almost for LSE that game. Really kept them fighting between Bristol's lead in the early, as we should have the last ban locked in here, and that will be a Lux.
Interesting. Yeah, I do think that Nick just had a really silently dominant performance on that Shen. Just kind of multi-man taunting all the time in these team fights and denying so much with that Spirit's Refuge. As we can see, Timo Hover, most likely to be a proxy. But I do think you want to get Nick off of one of his comfort champions, and Shen was one of those. And you want to get him to a more even matchup. You want if you're going to go for the Ornn again, Ornn is favored into most tank matchups, right? So denying that Shen away is very, very sensible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if you could ban away his entire champ pool. He plays a plethora of tanks. He will be able to play one of those tanks that he is known for. That is a Yi for Bristol, locked it in by macro. Probably won't be going to macro. Probably isn't the Yi either. And that is the Mumu Hover, which has more potential to actually come into this game. But again, my heart is telling me that it is a proxy pick.
Yeah, it looks like so Timo is Lee Sin and Amumu is Lulu. I'm getting word now. As we see a Nautilus reply here.
Mm-hmm. And Yi is actually Xin as well. So that is another one of these proactive carry AD junglers on the side of Bristol now locked in. What sort of matchup, what sort of synergy do you think that Bonks and Akis is going for this game of that AD jungle?
I think they love the strong 2v2s. We didn't expect to get that out of them with the Karthus LeBlanc early, but it just went the side of Bristol. And with Xin Zhao, you're going to have so much more early game presence, and you can just deny so much. You can deny so much damage with his. I think it's Crescent Guard. I think that's the name of the ultimate. As he goes for the LeBlanc again here, so it's a very, very strong. Very, very strong early 2v2, and they're just going to look to dominate early and skirmish again, try and deny Born This Way from snowballing. And they did it one game. Can they do it again? I think it's going to be easier this game with the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, running it back. Xin obviously being a much more proactive jungler than the Karthus. Karthus wants to full clear the entire time. Xin has a pretty good clear speed, and he can make more of an early game impact, as we see that Lissandra ban coming through in response to the LB.
Okay, Lissandra again. It's a nice adaptation. Lissandra is just such a nullifying pick for LeBlanc, and she wants a good matchup, and she got it last game with the Castin. So what do London turn to here? They know they're into LeBlanc. They know they're into a strong early 2v2. So do you go for scaling and try and just outlast it, or do you go and try and match it early? But actually, they take away the Castin.
Yeah, that casted high, 10-29 coming in clutch last game with some of those roams, those rift walks, that mobility that the champion provides, able to contest the LB a lot in some of those skirmishes. Of course, the Aphelios coming through again, late game for Bristol, that was absolutely a crutch that they leaned on in some of those pivotal team fights. Vayne will be the last ban for this draft.
I like the adaptation here, going for Aphelios and Vayne, recognizing that Benexus and Nibble are returning from Bristol Whip to try and carry this team, and they put in a solid performance last game. So what else can Benexus play? We know he plays pretty much. If you look at his OP.GG, he's got 50 games on pretty much every bot laning champion, and he does go for an Ezreal, and Ezreal's just been really, really solid pick here. Can just go for that Divine Sundra and go for that really, really annoying Ezreal tank build that you often see with the Frozen Heart as well, as we might see an Ornn lock in here for Nick.
Characteristic tank play at the top lane for LSE, and I would like to point out it's really good recognition from Benuxus to see, well, look, that's two bot side bans coming in the Aphelios and the Vayne. Let's play something a little bit safer in this bot lane to maybe be able to ward off some of that pressure with the Arcane Shift. And that is a Victor hover. So Victor should be either lock in. No, will be a Rise. I mean, both of these champions are actually High is proficient on all of these hovers, so either one will be something that he is comfortable with.
Okay, and they go for the TF. We just see so much. We saw in Permaband Worlds, many teams just not able to deal with this Twisted Fate and opt into these matchups against him. He can just clear the wave and move, and that's what all he does all game. Clear the wave, Destiny towards this bot lane, Destiny towards this top lane, and try and impact the map. And he has a very, very cheap item build now with the Everfrost being reduced by 400 gold. I'm not sure what Riot were thinking there, but 400 gold seems very, very cheap for this item. And he's just so much utility that he
Destiny,
gives.
Stone Card,
Yep.
Everfrost, and they get locked up for God knows how long. You roam in, it's a lot of pressure, and in tandem with Born This Way's patentedly Sin, we should be looking at a lot of proactivity from LSE to try and match this Sin for Bristol.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to get into this one. We saw how evenly matched the teams are already, and it's going to be on Born This Way to try and even up the series here. As we, I think that was an accidentally an Nivea lock in there. We're just going to remake Champion Select for another time here.
Yeah, remaking Champion Select with his proxy picks. The typical thing where you go in the alphabetical order when you're redoing bans. I can't remember. It's Aatrox and then you go in Nivea, but then they went through on the other ones and it was a Nivea lock-in, so...
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I've done it myself in NUEL. I don't know if you've ever done custom games 5v5, but it's a very, very easy to do. You go for all the A bans and you accidentally ban a champion that they picked. Yeah, a bit of a pain, but it's okay because we are coming straight back into it, and we are going to see the full team comps here in the flesh, and no more proxy picks. Hopefully, this game. We just want to see the real ones.
Hopefully now it should just be the full correct draft.
Yes.
And we'll load into Summoner's Rift shortly. Again, I mean, last game we saw double tank top. See double tank top again.
Yep.
I mean, Nick won it out last time. He's on the Ornn this time, which is reversal, but obviously the Shen has been banned away this game.
Yeah. Is there more a staple top lane matchup than Ornn Malphite? Ornn really able to get this early damage off though. He does so much damage if you've ever laned against this champion. And looks like my webcam may have gone out here a little bit. Hopefully it will come back eventually. Yeah, Malphite not able to get this normal Q poke off on the Ornn. Ornn just going to out sustain that. And then he's going to scale with those ornaments later on. And I wonder, he'll probably give this first ornament to Jinx as well, which is just so oppressive.
Yeah, oh, no, you've turned back to your normal self from
Okay, great.
missing no looking type thing that was there before. As yep, that's Lulu, Ezreal, LeBlanc. Okay, so teams, I mean, pretty much the same thing. You see full teams now. So Ornn, Lee Sin, TF, Jinx, and Nautilus for LSE, and then Malphite, Xin, LB, Ezreal, and Lulu. So we talked about jungle last game. Is it still jungle this game?
I think you can't keep your eyes off of this jungle matchup. It's on Born this way. He has to excel now on the Lee Sin this time. I know he plays this champion a lot, and it comes down to skill. How well can he play this Lee Sin? Lee Sin, famously a champion that scales with player skill, right? I don't think he has an easy time this game getting onto some of these targets. LeBlanc's so slippery. Lulu with the Whimsy just able to speed up all of the members here. He's going to have to really nail some of these Dragon Rage kicks onto the Ezreal for London to have a chance here.
Yeah, there's execution to come into this. You need to be able to perform this champion, and there is the expectation that Born This Way will be able to perform. He did not last game, but what we're looking for this game is to see that Tien Lee Sin coming through, those playmaking kicks, the Qs, being played in tandem with that TF. And I think this mid-jungle matchup is really what we're going to be watching yet again.
Definitely, and Twisted Fate is just such a menace in these team fights with his stun cards. He's just stunning the front line. He's stunning the Xin Zhao who wants to come in. You can see how potent he can be, even if he doesn't have the most damagey build. He's just constantly pulling out these stun cards, and he of course has this Destiny tool where he can TP to any of these fights at any moment, and you have to watch out for him. You have to be so cognizant of where he's going and where he's going to be at all times. So it's on the Blanc to see if she can have one of these double figure kill performances again. And we saw him do it once. Is he going to do it again?
I mean, that stemmed from this chaotic level 1 invade that we had last game. And, I mean, this is game 2. You adapt from game 1. Do you think that LSE can be more aware of this, perhaps, this level 1 play, this 5-man?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Jinx face checking in the river level 1 this time around. We may see an invade from their side because they have the Nautilus, right? He's such a strong level 1 champion. But honestly, I think they want an even game level 1. I expect to see both teams kind of 5-point defense, just making sure that none of these cheeky late invades can be done. You don't want some of these early fights. Sometimes you just want an even game because you just want player skill to be the deciding factor.
Absolutely, and player skill we will see indeed. LB, Lee Sin, Ezreal. I mean, even Malphite. You think Malphite does just press buttons, but there is a degree of knowing when to press those buttons. Sometimes holding onto that R button is exactly the threat that you want to have as that Malphite. These team fights should be just as exciting as last game, just as explosive. But I don't know. Do you want more chaos?
Always, right? I mean, I'm happy to see a 5v5 at level 1 if that's what both teams want to bring, but I don't think we're going to see it. I do expect, though, many fights in these early games, and whether Xin Zhao can get an early advantage like last time. Both the Blanc and Karthus in the last game were accelerated so much in this early game. I just want to see what Xin Zhao is able to get done in the early game. He's obviously against Born This Way. He's such a strong challenger jungler, but he outclassed him last game. Can he do it again?
Gold 4 versus Challenger, seeing a Challenger player run it down into this Gold 4, into this Gold 4 account is doomed right there. I mean, it is what it is, ranks. In this situation, it's a bit arbitrary, but performance is where it's at. And execution this game, I think, is the name of the game.
Absolutely. And one thing we didn't really talk about or mention much is this bot lane matchup. Ezreal Lulu, you've got the Jinx, Nautilus on the opposing side. And I just like Lulu. Just really, really nice pick. And she can enable so much of what Bristol want to do. She can speed up the Xin Zhao. He's going to be running at you with the Lethal Tempo. Lethal Tempo is such a changed rune now. It gives you all of this range, and it's just so unpleasant to come up against with some of these bruiser junglers. I haven't actually seen it on Xin Zhao yet, so I'm not sure how strong it is. But we know how strong it can be on champions like Warwick or champions like Yone. So we'll see how we get on.
And that is Summoner's Rift loading in now, of course, powered by SteelSeries, the award-winning gaming gear, and Intel 12th Gen as usual. We shall be loading in soon as we make sure we sync everything up.
Okay, I think we're about to ready to go.
I am ready as well.
Cool. Let's go.
All right. Everyone's
so we're all
going off,
synced.
running off. I think everything's all synced, hopefully. All right.
Awesome.
Just to check which seconds you at, because I might be at
Oh,
20.
yes, 30, 31.
You're at 35 now.
Yes, yes.
Because I was like 1 second ahead earlier, so I was just making sure. So I
I'm
paused,
glad we're all
I paused
synced up
slightly
now.
later. Okay, great.
No worries.
Technical issues resolved. We're on the Rift. LSE dogs emoting. That thumbs up. Top side, no fancy bush strats. Looks like we might be in for a little bit more of a restrained beginning to this game.
Yeah, it's like we talked about. Both teams don't want to risk an early level 1 going awry because it can really just turn the whole game on its head. So both teams just playing it safe here, not going to see any shenanigans early. And so like I was talking about the bot lane, I think it's just both going to be a kind of a farm it out. Ezreal and Lulu get the early push, but it's not going to be much of an issue here. I think Jinx is going to be able to safely farm it out here, and she does opt for the exhaust, really recognizing that the Blanc is going to be was such a menace last game, always jumping in, always blowing her up. She wants kind of some peel herself, and that's what's going to be with the exhaust. We saw how potent it was against assassins like Talon and Caston in the last game.
Going in for an early trade, Electric gets propped. Just a bit of the normal mid-game shenanigans that you'll expect out of this. Seems to be relatively standard pathing from both junglers, going to bottom. Nothing happening in top lane. Any expectations for this spot lane matchup outside of the push? Ezra with this first strike rune?
Ezreal's trying to try and hit some of these mystic shots in lane, right? But he's probably not going to get much more than 1,000 gold this game, I should imagine, in the laning phase.
That's a level 2 power spike, but unfortunately Jinx doesn't quite have the follow-up to be able to do any more damage than they did.
Yeah, but both AD carries here just happy to scale away, I think. I don't think we're going to see that much of a 2v2 skirmish. We just want to get to both team comps to mid-game when they can fight it out over these dragons, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Ezreal obviously does opt for the first strike rune. He's probably going to get some good value out of that, but against a player like Dog, it's going to be hard to hit him. It's hard to hit these good players with skill shots, especially if they're standing behind minions. So he's probably going to get a little bit more value in the mid game out of that rune, I should imagine.
Certainly, first strike being able to give you that econ in lane. I'm not sure if Ezreal is the best user of it at the moment. First strike does work a bit differently to that Klepto that we did see in past seasons, which Ezreal very much adored. A little bit more trading, both junglers now in the bot side of the map. There might be a little bit of a skirmish in the bot side coming up.
Yeah, and you can just see here Malphite chipping away a little bit against the Ornn, but he really doesn't go out of mana before he gets his 3rd level into the Seismic Shard. You can just spam it once you get to that 3rd level because the mana cost is so reduced, but before that it can be really, really difficult. And Ornn just showing us that he's so provisional on these tank picks, and Nick is just such a pro here. Out farming by 10 already, and Malphite just has no mana to reply here.
Very nice buffer from Benuxus there, being able to avoid any further damage from Tag Zenith's hook. Tag's able to take a lot of damage in return, Lulu being able to pump out a lot of damage with picks.
Yeah, Lee Sin here, potentially looking for an early gank, but who's his gank target? Because LeBlanc is so difficult to nail down, and I think it's hard for him to get stuff done in this early game. He really has to be in sync here with the gold card.
On this way, flash out from Bonks. That is going to be the first summoner that is not Smite expended this game, and boy is it an important one.
Definitely. We saw how far Bonks was ahead. I think at this point, even last game, he was already 2 kills up. But It's nice to see an even and see how he does when he's on the back foot in this matchup. Because now he doesn't have that flash, and they can look for, obviously, the repeat with the gold card into the guaranteed resonating strike.
Definitely. We're already seeing this proactivity from Lee Sin. We really want to see these ganks coming through using that Sonic Wave in tandem with the TF. We're seeing this mid-jungle develop, and hopefully we'll see Bristol with the response in due course. Lee Sin will be spotted by this ward in the tri-bush as Tag will clear it out.
Absolutely. And I guess we're kind of in a bit of a lull state right now. Both teams just kind of happy to farm out. Nick getting a little bit chunked, but obviously his natural regen is just going to... that being said, he didn't actually opt for the... He opted for two rubies here instead of the Dorans here. So obviously when you do this, you're able to just... you don't buy the Dorans early, and you can just farm a couple of waves, and then you're able to get the gold for the double ruby. So I'll use the health that the ruby crystals give, and you see him crafting again there. This is something that Ornn can do in lane, and it's just really annoying because Malphite's never going to be able to kill him here. He's going to run out of mana before he does.
Comes into the lane, just gonna get the shove for Nick here, allow him to reset, refill his health bar. Very smart pathing here. You can see that Nick really wants to get this resource back, but of course, does look like Bristol should be able to secure this Ocean Drake in return.
Of course, him showing top, fixing the top laner's wave does mean that the jungle is secured. It's an early Ocean Drake, not the most the powerful Drake in the game, obviously. Not as strong as it used to be, where you got this Ocean Soul and it felt like the game was just over. As we see Bonks here stunned. Oh, it looks like...
Okay, he's just down. I'm not sure if that was a DC issue or not. It might have been. Not entirely sure. Either way,
like
first blood to LSE. Coming back down, Born this way, trading onto Zin, getting very close, but he will be able to secure the kill. 2 for none on LSE. High. Going further with the stun card, a shield coming through, TP in return from Bonks, and I do think they're going to back out of this play.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate one there. It does look like Bonks DC'd a little bit, got a bit of a lag spike. Couldn't really do much about that. You can see him just kind of still in that lane. But on the side of London, Born this way, able to outplay, able to get the kill on Xin Zhao. But a little bit unfortunate there that LeBlanc does DC.
Yeah, not exactly what you want to see. Slight gold advantage to LSE, 1 and 1.4k at the moment, but high being forced to flash. Zin coming in, and that's the return kill onto Bonks. This LB is a menace.
That was so clean by the Xin Zhao though, just a flash W there. Recognizing that Blanc is going to get that chain as we see in the fight.
In, Nibble ignited, gonna drop very low. Ezreal coming back with the True Shot Barrage. LSE Dog, I don't think you win this one. Forced to flash back out. It's forward from Benuxus. He will go down to the Twisted Fate, but he secures a double in return.
My god, that was clean from Benexus. He just obliterates them there. Jinx not accounting for that level 6, and yeah, he just wow, that was so impactful. And Benexus showing us why he was on that Bristol Whip team that were able to secure a varsity win last year. They've been so solid in last game and here off to an early start.
Absolutely. Evening out the gold a little bit, but it is still currently slightly favoured for LSE this early into the game. Nothing else particular of itemization. We do see Macro opting for this early Bramble Vest. I'm not entirely sure if it's what you want into on, but definitely what you want into the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think he just wants to, as we see another fight here potentially.
Don't think anything's going to come of this. As I say that, Born This Way is getting polymorphed and will be slain by Bonks. Zenith now in the thick of things. See if he can get a return. Oh, Crescent Guard out. Very nice disengage from Ak. And that will just mean another kill over to Bonks.
Okay, but how annoying is Xin Zhao though with this Crescent Guard? Just able to... We know how annoying Immortal Zones are. We've seen it with Gwen. You just become immune. Xin Zhao with the Crescent Guard as well. You're just immune to damage for so long. And oh, you see an engage here from...
Alright, that Glacial Augment coming out from Nick there, but it's just a bit of a brittle slap and nothing more. I don't think you quite have enough damage to be able to 100-0 this Malphite at this point in the game.
Yeah, both top... Oh.
Nautilus might be in trouble here. Dredgeline through. Polymorph does come out. It's getting very low. I do think there is enough damage on the side of Bristol to finish this out. Xin picking up another kill. Born This Way in response. Going on to Lulu. Nice shield timing. And you don't quite have enough damage.
Yeah, very, very rough there. Nautilus Duke. Oh, but Nexus.
Okay, I see Dog taking a lot of damage, a lot of stuff going wide, but I think the health bar differential is just too big, and that's another kill over to Benuxus in the bot lane. 3-1-0 now with a slight CS lead.
Looking a little bit... Oh, as we see Born This Way.
Well, I mean, I spoke too soon. He gets shut down by Born This Way, and that's a massive injection of gold into the Lee Sin.
And that's exactly where we needed the gold to go. It looked like a little bit dire here. Ezreal getting ahead in this bot lane and just starting to really propel himself towards that Divine Sundra. But Born This Way, we talked about it earlier, eggs, all your eggs in the Born This Way basket, and him getting that shutdown is huge for him. As soon as he gets this gold drinker, he's going to be able to one-pop you, honestly. He can just dart in and out, get healing when he requires it, and we see him going in here.
Another proactive play from LSE. It will be exhausted, a bit too much damage. Crescent Guard being the problem, being able to block a Death Rocket. Now we have High in problem. I mean, he's gonna go golden, but it ain't enough. Tag Zenith taking a lot of damage now, and that will be Bonks picking up a kill, Benuxus picking up a kill, and it's 5-9 to Bristol.
Yes, back on the side of Bristol here. You can see how much Born This Way just wants to get these early advantages, but they all funnel in after him to try and save him. And this Crescent Guard has been such an effective force at denying the enemy the pick. And that's what we keep seeing. We keep seeing it with this Crescent Guard. It's just such an effective force. Even if you get caught out, you can just deny damage for what, 5-6 seconds there? He survived for so long. And it just meant that baiting the whole team into him to try and get the kill on the Xin Zhao, they just weren't able to secure it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the explosive potential of Jinx's rocket is not quite as much as we might have seen at the end of Arcane, but I shall leave it at that if anyone hasn't watched it by now, which I highly doubt, but not quite the same in-game as it was in the show. Now we do see a 1k gold lead, not quite as much, but it is still a lead.
No Xin Zhao in Arcane, fortunately for Jinx. But yes, you can just see how annoying it is to any damage outside of that circle doesn't get taken from the Xin Zhao, and they're going to propel this early advantage into another Drake take here, and that's exactly what they want. They want to be stacking these Drakes. They have Ezreal with the fully completed Divine Sundra. The Bonks ahead in the early game once again. 3 kills on this Blanc, and we thought, you know, we wanted this pick banned, and it wasn't this time, and he's just showing off on it again. He's just being so strong here once again.
Another trade of objectives as we get the Infernal Rift coming through, a bit of a change to the Hex, the Chemtech Drake, and the Chemtech Rift of last game will be the Drake for Bristol, Rift Herald for LSE, but LSE do also lose 2 plates in the bot.
Yeah, a little bit rough. Axe just able to... Oh, Born This Way.
Can't get the kick. I don't think you can make the kill here.
This is very full.
Of the Forge God, CC coming through. Will just unstoppable. Out of the flash, and flash in return. Flash, stun card, all the flashes coming through Everfrost, and they will pick up that kill, but you just burned 2 flashes for this, and a Destiny.
Yeah, so much invested there for side of London. Flash from Lee Sin, flash from... Oh, as we see another fight.
Play in the mid lane, 2v2, but I think Bonks has the advantage here. Depth Charge will go through, dissuade the play, and that will actually be first turret gold handed over to 3 of them in bot lane, as we do see the bot side turret traded out by the bot lane of Bristol.
We said this Ezreal didn't have kleptomancy, but he is rich. He's got so much gold already from this, from these towers, and he's going to be stacking it more up with this first strike rune that he has. He's just propelling himself to these items. He's just going to become really hard for the side of London to deal with, because you have the Lulu Wild Growth to keep you safe. He's probably going to opt towards a Frozen Heart as well, and he's just going to be really, really difficult to take down. He's going to have so many arcane shifts, and it's going to be a real troubling for the side of London. And they don't have this guaranteed scaling from the Caston this time. So who is going to save them? It has to be this Jinx. That's what we're looking at. But she's so far behind right now. This time she does go for the Gale Force over the Kraken though. So that's an interesting adaptation. I'm not sure about that one, because you do have Xin Zhao and Malphite they're going to have to burn through, as well as the wild growth of whichever champion that Lulu chooses. But she just really values the ability to just get that little bit of a dash, get that execute potentially at the end there.
Oh, here's the thing about having a dash. I mean, if you get ulted by a Malphite, you won't be able to dish out any damage, so being able to do some damage by using that dash is better than nothing. LSE trying to make a play in the mid lane onto... Not sure you can make much more happen. LSE Dog using that Gale Force that we just went out about, and Crescent Strike blocking so much damage.
Gosh,
Agus is still alive! Will go down to LSE Dog, but he's bought so much time for Bristol that they managed to get a kill in return.
Yes, they did eventually manage to take the raid boss of Xin Zhao down there. You can see how hard it is for them though, as Born This Way.
Forcing Lulu's flash is
very clean.
And the clean Sonic Wave. Now Ezreal gonna have to Arcane Shift out of there. That will go wide. That also goes wide. Apparently Macro and Benuxus can't land anything. But, I mean, you're gonna go forward. You get one kill. Can you get another one? Arcane Shift forward. Mystic shots, not gonna land. Health bars are low. You might be able to secure the kill. Okay, he will secure the kill. Malphite, the move speed going forward. And I think that is it. In the end, that will be what is, I think, it's a 3 for 2. But, you know, you get shut down, more gold on Israel, so.
Oh, we see him engage.
I mean, we're just back into it. Bonk's able to distortion over the wall. That lands! What is the hitbox on Dredgeline?
Yes, Born This Way. If he ever hits these Qs, you know he's going in.
I mean, this is a complete and utter fiesta. Blood for the Blood God, as we see Ezreal finally getting shot down. That Dredgeline doesn't land, but my Tag Zenith has been tagging these Dredgelines. Okay, well, I mean, I just can't stop. Just another fight.
solo
He's
cast.
just finished 3 fights. Jesus. Okay, right. Crescent Strike. Health bar's getting low. I have no idea what's going on right now. Born This Way should be killed by the Xin. Xin is still alive. He's healing up. In fact, his health bar is increasing. He gets a double. Can he get a triple? He will get a triple shortly. Okay, well, Malphite steals the triple, but I mean, this Xin is absolutely devastating.
This Xin Zhao Lulu combo is disgusting. We saw how effective Xin Zhao was at Worlds, and he's doing it here again. And I was going to say Bristol did really well just to try and get some of these picks back, get some of these shutdowns, but then it got completely turned around here on its head by Bristol. It looked like they were even for a second there, but Bristol, just every time it gets close, they slam them with another few kills. And they're doing it again here.
Can't let them get these small advantages, it seems. Although, I mean, I say this, but the gold lead is relatively even. It's just this Drake differential here. I'm quite surprised that is the case. I imagine that is mostly because of that Rift Herald play in the top side, but we do have battle lines.
London really need this Drake.
They will start it up.
Looks like they're going to get it here. Don't think we'll see an engage. Oh, as they're all pinging, going in.
Unstoppable Force coming in. Massive engage for Bristol. Health bars dropping low on LSE. LSE, however, will get the first kill. Macro being able to trade one there, but this Polymorph being massive for Bristol right now as they're able to dish out all of this damage into the front line and the rest of LSE, as there will be the ace for Bristol.
Wow. Very, very dominant stuff there from Bristol. Yes. They get the consolation prize, they get the Infernal on the side of London, but Bristol here, you just can't kill these two top laners, and it's so rough. Who's Jinx going to kill? She doesn't have any damage. She doesn't have a Lord Doms yet to rip through. She just doesn't have the item. She was set so far behind, and you can just see how effective the Ezreal and the Lulu are being in these fights as well. They can just stand behind these colossal Zinzaos, and no one can touch them. Oh, as I said that, I may have just cast a curse.
Destiny Gate might just be enough. Yep, with that rapid fire cannon range, manages to get that kill onto the Ezreal. Well, that is one thing that LSE needed. A little bit of gold back in the pocket after that Ezreal kill, but what do they need to do now? Apparently look for another pick on this Malphite, as Born This Way and Hi are working in tandem to try and slay Macro, as he will get killed eventually, and that's more gold in the pocket of this Lee Sin.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy from the side of Bristol, not resetting after that previous play. Do give over the shutdown from the Malphite onto the side of Born This Way, and they give it on the Ezreal as well. But that being said, look at the Ezreal's items already. He's almost got that Seralda's Grudge, and it's just so he's just going to be doing so much damage. And who's killing this Sinzao? Who's killing this Malphite? As we see in another fight.
No. This play ever works out for Born This Way, as he will die this way as well. Ezreal going forward, Dredgeline able to... I mean, he's doing so much damage. What in the world is that?
Yeah, Born This Way just... He's overforcing, and we're seeing it again and again. We saw it a lot last time where he's trying to solo. He thinks he's more far ahead than he is. And he's just diving into these two or three people and getting... CC'd, and they do have a lot of CC there with the chains. You just can't move and you can't get out, and really unfortunate from the side of Born This Way. He does have the death stance, but it was not going to be enough.
Nick, I don't think that's where you wanted to walk. I'm not gonna lie, you're just dead. Hi will be able to prop that Everfrost through, flash over the wall. Xin doesn't have the range to chase that one, but a bit of a mispositioning from Miss Orn here.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate path there. But I don't see London getting back into this. I see Bristol closing it out. I think it's really difficult here because they just don't have the damage. TF's not giving you the damage, he only gives you the utility. Who's doing the damage? Lee Sin only has, one or two people he can bump it. Unless he can get a multi-man kick, unless he can kick Malphite into the rest of their team, right? It's so hard for Jinx to do damage in this fight. And we see a Rift Herald already on the mid tier 3.
And just to get the charge off, health bar was completely untouched after the first turret went down. I mean, this is massive. Massive is not the gold lead, but honestly, the kill count, you're 10 kills up. It just feels like Bristol have the advantage in every fight.
Yeah, the gold isn't where it needs to be. It needs to be on the Jinx, and it just isn't, right? Most of it's on Born This Way. Most of it's on Hi, and that's not where the damage is. That's not where your win condition, and it's all on the Jinx, and she just can't get... She just can't play the game, frankly. She can't play the game when you've got this Zinzao constantly coming at you. As Born This Way looks to be getting caught out again.
Will be caught out, managing to use those dashes that Lee Sin has access to. Dashing to the Baron, will get killed by Malphite's Comet. Xin diving in. Call of the Forge God in return. Going to dash out. I just think you're getting beaten on by this point. You're getting wallet slapped by the Ezreal, who has the money of Bristol. That's another kill for Xin. Going forward, bonks, Xin, everyone with a dash, flash forward. Benuxus with some more autos. This Ezreal cannot be stopped. He's gonna go past the tower, will take a few shots, get an arcane shift again. You can't kill him. He's just gonna run you down, and I don't know what you do into that.
Yeah, these shields and these speed ups is just so oppressive, and no one can kill Malphite and Xin. I said it probably 5 or 6 times this cast. No one can kill Malphite and Xin, and that's how it is. Especially when you've got the Lulu behind him, and she's picked up the Chemcheck Putrefy now, just applying the Grievous wounds to the whoever she empowers. And yeah, they're going to secure the Baron. They're going to secure the next Drake as well, most likely, although it may be traded. And looks like they're going to secure the Nexus potentially here as well, because they're just so far ahead.
At least LSE do get the consolation prize of getting a second Infernal here shortly, as we do see Born This Way picking that one up currently during the objective. Will be an objective bounty claim. A lot of gold back in, but I don't know if that's exactly what you need. What is it that LSE needs, Maverick?
They need a gold injection on the side of Jinx. That's what they need. They need They need a Jinx double or a triple kill in this next fight. She needs to get to her next core item. She needs a rapid fire. She needs 3 or 4 items to be able to remedy the situation. And currently, it's just not salvageable. Objective bounties help. It's something that was introduced by in the preseason, right? And it's something that's been frankly complained about a lot by higher tier players and higher tier teams, because they're worried about these teams getting back into the game or just being able to stall out. And we're seeing London attempt this, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
There's a lot of pressure. This Baron buff, this gold lead now amounting to 6,000 almost for Bristol, should be able to lay the siege down onto the structures of the blue team.
Yeah, they're just going to march in on here, and no one can stop the Malphite. Malphite's just going to stand in your face, and no one can kill him. He's just so tanky, and what a performance from Macro here, landing the ult consistently in these team fights, and being buffed up by the Lulu, and no one can stop him. Look, they're just giving it. They have to yield it. They can't do it. They have to trade. They have to try and look for these objective bounties in the mid lane.
Another bounty claimed, but they're laying waste to your base right now, as that is an inhibitor down at 24 minutes into this game. Bristol for more flash engage from Macro. A huge amount of damage coming through. Bristol looking for that varsity spot. They want to make it there. They're getting the kills at the moment, but have they gone too far? LSE Dog forward, doing a lot of damage, but there's still 2 alive on the side of Bristol. Born this way, coming through. The last one standing for LSE makes the play, flashes for the Lulu. That will be ace for LSE. 1 man surviving, and that is Born this way.
So it looked like there was going to be a really, really close base race there, but you can't base race the team with Baron, even if you have Jinx. But Macro 101 makes the decision to engage onto 3 members, and it looked like his team wasn't quite on the same page as him there. Didn't follow him up immediately, and it meant that the whole team went down on the side of Bristol, and this could be the angle. We talked about it. Jinx needs a big shutdown. She needs a gold injection. And what has she just got? She's just got her Lord Doms. She's just got her rapid fire. She has her tier 2 boots. And now she can start dealing damage. She can start killing this Malphite. She can start actually doing stuff. And she hasn't been able to do that so far. And she has the exhaust. She has both her summoners up. Look at the Jinx in these next team fights. It's all about the Jinx.
Yep, this Jinx is the superstar right now. You need this Jinx to be able to put the damage down onto this Bristol team comp. But it's going to be an upwards battle from here. You have this open base on the top side. That's always something that Bristol's able to exploit. You have 2 TPs on Bristol. Let's say a fight goes down, you kill Nick and you kill the TF, you might be able to make something happen there. Now, I guess we're just waiting for the next objective now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just waiting for the next dragon here. Going to be another Infernal. London already have 2 of them, and they're starting to make a difference. Slowly but surely. Even if they get another one, it's a big one. And if they get 4, that's an Infernal Soul. So yeah, they've been able to just deny these 2 Drakes. Has been able to deny the Soul win condition, and both teams. It looks winnable now. It looks winnable. You wouldn't have said that 5 minutes ago, as we see a kick away there, disengage.
It's winnable. All of the Forge God not gonna connect with anyone. Xin really looking for this play. Dash forward, will back off.
Xin Zhao not afraid to just propel himself into the enemy team. He knows he has Lulu there to back him up. As she does, interestingly enough, actually opt for the Wardstone. That's never an item we see. Obviously, it gives you so much ability haste, and that is what Lulu wants. As we see another siege here.
The backs. It does interrupt Born this way's back. That's actually going to be incredibly significant for this game, as we do see Bristol managing to get this inhib potentially. First turret down on this side, blue inhib down. That's 2 exposed inhibitors. Destiny Gate popped in return. I'm not sure. Okay, high, going down this way on the flank. Will be able to give Jinx some gold in the kill for Bonks. He will die in return, but can we see anything more happening? Will there be more blood? I think both teams want to back out of this, and it will just be a 1-for-1 with both mid laners.
Another important kill for Jinx. They're able to take down the LeBlanc, and yeah, she's starting to get a bit scary now. She even has a 150G bounty now, just because she's been getting so much gold injected into her. And as she heads to this 4th and 5th item, she's going to be a problem, and you have to nail her down. You have to be able to get past this Nautilus and this Ornn to try and take her down. and she wasn't threatened at all in that last skirmish. Bonked, just getting bonked by the Nautilus. And he's been doing Braum's job from last game, honestly. He's been bonking everyone in this game and just being really, really annoying. But that being said, it looks like they're going to get the third inhibitor here. And if they do, that could be the final straw.
Should be able to get the tower. I think the minions might be able to finish that one off. Yep, that will be all 3 turrets there that are protecting those inhibitors down. Those inhibitors are now not protected by any sort of danger outside of proximity to their fountain. I mean, you got exposed space. Bristol now on soul point. The gold lead is minor, but it is still a lead.
Absolutely.
Do you have to make a play for the Drake? Is you waiting for Elder?
It's hard at this point, right? Soul is just so important, but I think we're going to see London go for Baron here, potentially, but this is just going to lead to a massive 5v5, and we just have to watch Jinx. Jinx, 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 Jinx. That is all we're looking for. She's the main character of Arcane. She's the main character in this game, and how is she going to do? How is she going to be able? Is she going to be able to peel herself with the exhaust? Is she going to be peeled for by her team? That's what we need to look for, and Bristol just looks like they're going to get a free Baron here because it doesn't look like London are willing to contest.
Setting up the vision, setting up positions, making
come.
sure that this fight goes the way you need it to. This is a varsity spot on the line here. The Ornhorn, Ezreal's just dead. Is it what LSE needs? Health bars on the red team getting insanely low. Resurrecting on one end, Macro almost dead, Bolt goes down, Born this way secures another, and now it's just a support on the top. Can Hi get the stun card? He lands it. Is that enough? Flash forward on Lee Sin, that's a double. Just a Malphite alive. That might have been what LSE needed to get back in this game.
Born this way, just really stepping up. You can see how much more of a difference he's making this game. Yes, he got caught out a little bit early, but he did make the important plays. He's not killable now. He has the Gorge Ringgit, he has the Death Stance, and he has even a more. And if you can't burst him straight away, he's going to out-heal you. And now they get the Baron, and we really just have to applaud both teams here, giving us a series. We saw both ADCs getting taken out really, really early in the last fight, and when Bernexus is down, it can be difficult for damage to be done on the side of Bristol.
Yep, that is a Baron. Gold. It's 100 gold, admittedly, but it is 100 gold. A little bit more now, but, you know, it's even. It's slightly in LSE's favor, but they managed to even that out. They have a Baron now. Hibs are respawning. We have a game.
It's absolutely crazy that London have been able to just come back from this gold advantage, and you can see the power of objective bounties. We were looking earlier, Jinx had an item and a half, and we were looking like the game was going to be over. They had 2 inhibs down, and then suddenly Jinx picks up a few kills, and they're completely back in the game. 4 items on Jinx, and she can rip through your entire team.
Yep, push these waves out. You need to do it. Make sure these waves aren't pushing in, so that Bristol cannot exploit that in any way, shape, or form. Set up for this objective. You don't want to give them this Infernal Soul. Bristol have 5 people in the bush. Okay, we'll get spotted.
It's a Fnatic bush. They do get spotted, yeah. It's not too bad. A nice little attempt there. I just love the impact of both junglers here as we see Zin's out.
Massive engage from Nick onto 3 people. All the buttons coming through. So much damage. Jinx is massive right now. Gold card coming through. The Nuxa should get stunned. Rapid fire cannon range. That is 4 kills. Just Bonks left standing. 1 auto. He might just be able to take the game with the back buff.
I think we're going to game 3.
Oh my word, LSE dog.
Wow. What a throw here from Bristol and London, just able to close it out. Crazy. One apiece here. What a series we've been treated to today. Absolutely dominating performance from Born this way in these last few fights, and he really just excelled, and he really showed us, you know, why he's the challenger jungler now. In these key moments, he's able to get the picks that he needs. He's able to sustain, and Jinx is able to carry them through.
What a game. I mean, Bristol had the advantage for so long. It's just in like the last 5 minutes of the game, as he managed to claw it back with that one clutch team fight. Maybe that Flash Malphite ult was what put it in. Maybe there was just that overextension in the base from Bristol. But we have one more game, and that last game will be the decider of who gets this varsity spot.
Yeah,
Bristol maybe being a little bit overzealous there.
it's absolutely crazy what one small mistake, you think that could be a game-winning play, and if you're not all on the same page, it can just turn out disastrous, and Jinx is just able to get those shutdowns in the crucial moment and able to carry through. Really, really impressive for London to be able to just be stalwart and come through and Born This Way, he had a really difficult start to this game, but able to claw his way back, able to get those meaningful plays and just really show that why he is the jungler of this team.
And credit where it's due, LSE Dog being able to scale that one through, of course. We will be coming to game 3 shortly in a few minutes' time, making sure Champ Site is all set up for you nicely. We will be back in a few minutes or so for the last game of today's series.
See you then.
Welcome back, everybody, to the NUEL Winter broadcast, as we will be going into our final game today of this best of 3 between LSE Leviathans and the Bristol Mandem.
I had a little
This
feeling.
is everything.
I had a little feeling after game 1 was so close that it was going to go to game 3, and it didn't look like it for a large portion of that game 2. And here we are, game 3. The winner secures a varsity spot.
I mean, it's not the end of the line if you don't secure it today. But,
Yes,
I mean, it's right there on your graph. Just one game.
that's right.
All you need is to close out and destroy that Nexus one time, and you secure your spot.
Yeah, who wants to play an extra best of 3 against another team? You have to prepare, and you just want to get out of the way here. You want to show that you're the better team. You want to show that you want to play for seeding, really, and that's what this is about. And I know that I'd rather play fewer games than more.
I mean, definitely. I mean, you think about it. So you win today, you get that out of the way. The stress is there. I mean, if you don't win the games after that, that's fine. You don't have to. You just locked in varsity. That's the important thing. But when you don't lock it in, you have a situation where, okay, well, now you've got the nerves and everything building up to next week where you have to vie for another spot.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't want to be in that position of the loser. Obviously, of course, they do have the extra chance, but yeah. But in terms of what's coming next, in terms of what adaptations now do Bristol make, they want to continue denying Born This Way, and I think what they'll do is I think they'll ban the 3 jungle bruisers like we saw in the first game, and Born This Way will not be playing Lee Sin this game. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, man, Lee Sim was, if I remember correctly, the first ban of the first game.
Yes.
Either way, it was in the first round of that. 3 jungle bans, I mean, it might just be going back to 3 jungle bans, but there's Lee Sin. There is no way that's making it through again. Another
Yeah.
question is, will Bonk pick the LB again?
I mean, he's had 2 very dominant performances on it so far. He did get caught out a little bit in these last team fights. It can be difficult, of course, to play LeBlanc into Nautilus, when he can knock you about and keep you stationary, and that's not something that LeBlanc wants. I can definitely see it if he's comfortable on that pick, and he's shown to be so far. It gives you so much priority in the mid lane as well, and I think that is something that they just want in the mid lane. But yeah, I will be interested to see if they go for that, and they may even ban it on the side of London here.
Do you think the Zoe will ever make it through? Game
Absolutely
3?
not. No, it's going to be a ban all the way through. If anything, we might see the Shen again, because 3 jungle bruiser bans might open up the Shen to be picked by Nick, and Nick had a very good performance, even though they did lose in the first game on that Shen. Yeah, I think we might see the Shen. Depends if they do elect to target Born This Way with all 3 champions again. So yeah, I think kind of depends, really.
There's a lot on the line, of course. Still weighing on Champ Select, still a few things left to go, making sure that we're all ready in a moment. But let's go back to Varsity. I mean, what's on the line? What is Varsity? There's so many money can't buy prizes that NUEL is offering here through that Varsity tournament. And I mean, for Bristol even, you get 2 teams in there. That's
Yeah,
massive.
It is, and the only other really team to do that, really university to do that, is Warwick, right? Grey Warwick, such an established esports team within the NUEL and on the in the amateur scene, and obviously their academy team has been successful as well, and we may see that they also make a varsity spot, and then we'll have two teams with two teams from two different, four teams from two different universities, and that would be really, really interesting. I think it's a really, really big step forward for esports at Bristol for these two teams to come through, and Bristol Warriors, yeah, doing really, really well, and yeah, both teams just, yeah, I think it's important for both teams, but Bristol especially is just a big push forward for them.
Yeah, history in the making right here. Just one more game away from that decider, as I think we should be getting into Champ Select very, very soon. It's exciting to see. I mean, there's so much. The adaptations need to come through in this game through, though.
Yeah, I just I have to see this Lee Sin ban. We can't let Born This Way have it. And there goes the Jarvan ban. So there's the first of our jungle bruisers banned away. I imagine Lee Sin will be taking us. Lee Sin will be banned away as the third one.
I mean,
And I wonder if we'll see the Xin Zhao banned or first picked, yeah, from the side of Bristol.
yeah, that Zoe's never seen the light of day, unfortunately.
Never
Bonks
ever.
does not get to have his one trick this time.
Yeah.
Oh,
If there's
I
anything you
mean,
learn about NUEL, it's always ban out those one tricks. If you're ever playing a NUEL game and you see this guy has 1,000 games on this champion, don't let him play that champion.
and it's game three. Comfort is important. We see the all coming through. That seems to be comfort for both sides. I guess it's more problematic for Nick. You want to deny that scaling. Don't give those items away. There's the Zen. Wait, Lee Sin's open. Oh, but they have
Wow.
blue side. Are they going to pick Lee Sin?
You have to think it's got to be that way, right? You have to think that they're going to deny the Lee Sin away, and they just think there was such a strong pick in that last game. I expect the Lee Sin here. It has to be, right?
Surely you don't
Okay,
give
it's
that
another
away. It's
proxy.
another Master Yi proxy. We should be able to find out what that champion is shortly. If it does get locked in, and it does, we'll find that out in due course. Now it's on for the other side. Depends on what this B1 is.
Yeah, I like the Karthus ban as well. Ak had such a dominant performance on that in the first game, and he pretty much took over the game by himself. Yeah, I do want to see what they'll first pick here. Oh, it's going to be the Shen. That's what we talked about, right? So that means that Master Yi proxy must be Lee Sin. It has to be Lee Sin, surely.
Yeah, I can
Especially
definitely
if Born
see
This Way is hovering Graves.
Graves is another champion that Born This Way is known for plaguing Challenger EU West on that Graves pick. And yes, it is confirmed that Master Yi is a proxy for the Lee Sin, as I've just been informed. So yeah, using that B1, denying the Lee Sin, but Born This Way is still on a comfort pick.
Okay, Nunu. Is that potentially another proxy? But I do want to take a moment to kind of talk about this Graves. Graves is a proxy for Jinx. I'm just getting word. Actually, I thought that was actually going to be a Graves pick just straight out, because it's such a like a high elo streamer, pick. I feel like Graves he's so powerful, but we potentially aren't going to see it.
Alright, return to Mr. Years, coming back in for Bristol, clutched out the late game that time for Denuxus. Denuxus this series has been on it, though. Absolutely on it.
Absolutely. In both games, he did get caught out in a little bit in the last couple of team fights, but really putting in solid performances. And Dog obviously getting the Jinx again, though. 3 games in a row, he's been solid on this Jinx, and he's going to get it again. And we saw how hard he can carry in those last team fights if he's not touched. And that's exactly what he did. And I like the deny of the LeBlanc here. What else can Bonks play? He's not playing the Zoe this game. He's not playing the LeBlanc. He's going to have to pull out a new pick. What's it going to be? Is it going to be Orianna? I do wonder.
Bonks has the champion for it. He is a superstar mid laner for Bristol, and this team definitely has the options involved. Talon banned out, trying to target Born This Way's champ pool even further. see how that develops as we have another ban. That would be the Ari. Bit unusual.
Yeah, really, really targeting Bonks here, really stretching his champion pool and just trying to, Hi wants him to prove to him that he is the better mid laner. What other champions can you play? And I like the Nautilus deny here. We saw how annoying that was to deal with on the other side, and Nautilus just able to CC people for like upwards of 5 seconds in some cases. It felt like, and he was able to keep dredgelining all of the carries on the side of Bristol, and it was just really, really annoying. But likely to see a Braum here, so I think it's a return to the first game again.
Yep, this Braum, I mean, these supports just keep on going back and forth between both teams right now. Yes, indeed, that Nautilus massive last game in tandem with those Ornn ultimates. Let's see what Bristol are going to pair that with that Felios, and it will be
There's
the
the Orianna.
Orianna for Bonks.
Okay, so you've got the ball delivery service, I guess, with the Orianna and the Lee Sin. Although it's a little bit more tricky to pull off than some of the other picks. And Macro wanting to pick the Urgot. I know he's been spamming this in preseason so far, and it is open. Is he going to go for it? It's one of his comfort picks.
Oh, okay. Looking like we're having some issues with champ select there. Either way, it should all go back in the correct order in due course. Okay, it looks like there was a client crash issue. Always good to see that Riot is that small indie company we know and love.
Okay, so we're getting word now that the Urgot is confirmed for that final pick on the side of Bristol there. So Macro just really wanting that comfort Urgot, and he gets it. So what's he able to do? He had a really, really nice performance on the Malphite in the last game, and he's going to be on the Urgot now, and I think it's one of his most comfortable picks. So you have to think that he's going to have priority in this lane.
Maybe we're going to be looking for a bit of a change in the direction of priority. Maybe rather than having top lane island, we're going to play for this Urgot, try and put resources in there and just leave the bot lane to be. We will see the full draft that's going to be done in champion order, and we will see the R5 for LSE in due course.
Urgot versus Shen.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, and Kane, that is an actual authentic pick. So Kane, I wonder if he'll go red or blue here. I feel like this is just such a born this way champion. He loves to be in there all the time. We saw it on the in the Lee Sin in that last game, and we saw it on the talent. He just loves to be in there amongst all of those champions. And I think Red Kane is just really, really nice this game. It gives you so much sustain, and when you get this Gore Drinker as well, he's just unkillable without anti-heal on your side.
Well, I do think it is probably going to be a Red Kane. I mean, we look at the teams, it makes sense. And we have a Felios Jinx again. LSE Dog on this Jinx. 3 games today.
Yep. Yeah, and Aphelios Lulu as well. We saw how prolific that bot lane was in World Championships. And the only thing that could really answer it appeared to be Lucian Nami. So we'll see how Jinx and Braum fare into this team. Aphelios really, really loves it when team members come into him, and that's exactly what the team comp of London wants to do, right? Kane wants to dive. He has the dive partner of the Shen. He has TF as well, and I think Aphelios is going to be in his element here if he doesn't get picked off.
Yeah, certainly will be. The range is short, but you do have to bear in mind that with a stun card, with a Shen taunt, with a Braum Glacial Fissure, even Jinx Chompers can follow up on that. You do have to position accordingly. So, a lot of pressure on him, but I mean, I'm interested in this Urgot Shen matchup right now.
Yeah, I think this is the crux of this game. What can Macro do on this Urgot? He's been given a lot of draft resources here. He gets the final pick in the draft, and he picks Urgot into the Shen. Is this a matchup he's familiar with? We know it's a champion he's familiar with, and it's got to be on Nick to try and nullify that. And I think he can do that with the Spirit's Refuge. And if he just plays safe and is able to get an early CS advantage, then Shen's going to be able to teleport away and make some of these plays. It's a really, really risky pick because if he does get behind, it feels like the game is kind of doomed because you're putting so much resources into this Urgot. But we'll see how it goes. But we know how solid Nick has been on this tank so far.
Nick definitely has proficiency on the Shen, but as far as this matchup goes, I have played it a few times on the Shen side, and I've from what I know of my own experience, and I think from watching some other matchups go this way, is actually the agency is actually on the Urgot here. How he spaces, how he uses his abilities, particularly
Absolutely.
Disdain. If that gets used early or if it doesn't connect, then Shen does have the advantage and will be able to punish.
Yeah, and that and the Spirit's Refuge as well. That cooldown is so important because you can deny the Urgot W with that. Yeah, it's just. I think if Nick puts in anywhere close to the performance he did in the first game, we could potentially see a London comeback here.
Yep. Early game will be of note as well. Now, let's bring it back to Bristol. Look at so we have Cartha's first game, clearing very proactive with Bonk. Bonks is now on a control mage. It's not this mobile LB. Axe is now on perhaps the most playmaking jungler you can have in the game. What's the mix up here? What's the difference?
I mean, I think for Ak, he has to prove that he is the superior jungler in this sense. He's just seen Born This Way as Lee Sin. He's just seen him put out a dominating performance, and he has to take Born This Way's champion, and he has to put it to him. He has to get these early advantages, and he won't have as strong as a 2v2 as he did last game. LeBlanc's not going to have complete priority. LeBlanc had priority in the last game, but Oriana's not going to have that level of priority that he did have in the last game, and yeah, it's all on the Lee Sin to try and make these early plays and see which lane they can impact. But some of these lanes don't look bankable to me.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Jinx Braum, very safe, honestly. Very difficult to do that. Shen, you don't turret dive Shen. Turret diving Shen will get you killed. And I mean, I think mid lane is probably the most exploitable. But we'll see how it plays out. Early game is very important. We saw a more restrained early game from Bristol Mandem. Do you think that'll be reciprocated this game, or we're going to have something more chaotic, maybe harkening back to the first game of today?
I think we'll probably see the same as what we saw in game two. I can't imagine either team wanting to throw their chance here, just securing the varsity spot straight away in a risky level 1 skirmish. But that being said, they do have the Braum. You know how strong he is with the Winter's Bite and the concussive blows in these early skirmishes. He can just walk up to people and tag them down, get them stunned, cause them to blow a summoner. And an early blown summoner can really be effective against a Kayn and the Lee Sin. But for me, all eyes on the top side of the map. Urgot, Shen, Lee Sin, Kayn. And Kayn, again, the first strike.
Yeah, first strike rune Born This Way, really showing himself as a first strike enjoyer this series, trying to use this rune on these assassin junglers where you just jump in there, get a bunch of damage off, and that's just enough to get value out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just such an annoyance, and he's just such an in and out jungler. As we are going to sync up here, I think
I'm at 5.
Yeah, I'm at 5 as well.
Okay, I think everything's going loading onto Summoner's Rift now. Of course, powered by our brilliant sponsors, Steel Series and Intel Steel Series, being an amazing gaming gear manufacturer, and Intel with their 12th gen CPUs now in the market.
Welcome to Summoner's
Yeah, and like I was talking about before, the Kayn is just such an in and out jungler, and that's exactly what you want to be with first strike. We're going to pop out some of these walls, Q someone, W someone, get that first strike, and then you can just run away.
30 seconds until minions.
Oh, it looks like there was a little bit of a pause. That's why we saw the slight stoppage there. But we are getting back into it now.
Yeah, a little bit of banter in the chat as always. Press D to dance. It's like I'm playing from Nigeria. Interesting comments there between the two teams. Good to see that both of them are enjoying themselves. Game is obviously frozen currently because of the pause. We shall get back in soon. In a moment, spectator currently frozen. We'll get that fixed and get you guys back into the action of this game as it starts. Now, I just noticed something on this Felios. He has heal. There is TF. There is a Shen. There is a Braum.
Minions have spawned.
Yes. Risky game for Benexus, but putting his confidence in the Lulu. And notice there's no exhaust on the side of Bristol this time. So Kane, potentially, all the divers on their team having a field day because they just can't get exhausted. And I think it's a really, really risky heal here because a stunned Aphelios is an Aphelios that isn't doing any damage. And yeah, it's a really risky choice, but putting confidence in the Lulu to be able to putting confidence in his own positioning and putting confidence in the Lulu Whimsy and the wild growth.
Outside of that, it does seem like everyone's got very typical generic starts, corrupting pots for both mid laners, and the rest is all the same. Doran's Longsword, both going Doran's Shield in this top lane. Junglers, again, both getting leashed, both starting top side. Does that mean they're playing for... I mean, this is accelerated jungle. I guess Kane wants to get to a lead. Lee Sin wants to get these clears done quickly.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see a full clear from both junglers here. I don't think we're going to see any early game risks, but Born This Way really needs to show that he's the dominant jungler and why he is Challenger 1000 LP, right? You don't get to that without a great level of skill, and you don't get to play for these teams in the Spanish leagues if you aren't that, and I think we're going to see it. We saw it in the last game for a very dominant performance, and I think we're going to see it again here. On this Kane, and I'm really excited to see whether he does opt for the red or the blue.
Yep, hitting level 2 in bot lane will be a little bit of trading with the Moonshot and the auto to come off the back of that. Nothing much else going on in mid lane. Of course, Ak is slightly ahead in the clear as he has seemed to skip his wolves. But, okay, Nick currently being pushed in.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see both teams just safely farm it out. They don't want to risk any of these kind of early skirmishes and give a lead to either of the mid laners. And yeah, I think Oriana's absolutely fine with this. She's going to look to land these massive 3-4 man shockwaves in the late game, and hopefully Ak can enable her to do that. As we see actually a potential gank from Born This Way.
Alright, a lot of damage coming into high.
Oh.
He does have the corrupting pot, should be fine. Kane. Okay, both junglers there. Did Kane get spotted? No, I don't think he did. He's gonna come into this lane. Onto Benux's flash forward, a lot of damage. Flash in return. Concussive blows has not been procced yet. W goes wide. LSE dog getting taken down. The exhaust coming in clutch here. But I think Born This Way, it might just be dead. First blood down to Nibble. LSE dog getting very low. Another kill onto Benuxus. And Tag Zenith is gonna go down. A double kill for Benuxus at 3 minutes in the game.
That's huge there. Bit of an overextension from Born This Way. Yeah, I think you might be a little bit behind Tackle. I'm at 410 right now.
Okay, I'm assuming that's because of the
Pause. Yes. So if we resync at 420.
Okay, I will get up to 420. Hold on. I am now at 420, if that's what you're at.
Yes. 3, 2.
Alright, we're just going to sort out some other situations.
Yeah,
I am currently paused at a situation of where Born This Way and Nick...
One. Go.
Yep, Born This Way and Nick are currently ganking this Urgot in the top lane. Gonna take a lot of damage. Okay, great, that's... Yeah, synced up. Macro's gonna have to reset. And I think Nick is just able to stay icy with this freeze where he's at.
So let's take a moment to talk about this skirmish in the bot lane. And went a little bit awry for the Sign of London. Born This Way, not able to get those concussive blows down onto Benuxus, right? He missed his W. Unfortunately, not able to get the auto attacks, and it was just turned around so well by Ak there. And Lulu can really be a menace. She has the polymorph, she has the speed up, she has the shields. It can be really difficult to take this target down inside of Benuxus, and he ends up with 2 kills here, and he's propelled towards this shield bow. You have to think it's going to be a shield bow here, because you've got so many people that just want to blow him up. But yeah, another really great start for Benuxus.
Definitely a brilliant start to the game for Bristol. Obviously, Benuxus having that noon quiver 5 minutes into this game. Very massive. We'll be able to put out lane pressure. You have that item advantage versus the Jinx. You can definitely use that to your advantage. As for the rest of the map, Nick is winning out in the top lane. Of course, Born This Way putting in that pressure. But outside of that, slight CS lead towards Bonks.
Yeah, Nick just so solid up here, able to get these early leads, but and he has a big wave being pushed into his tower, so it's going to be even more substantial. We saw how strong he was in the first game. These
And looks
Momentos,
like we're
he's
gonna
in
get another
engage.
gang. Can you
No
pop the
cleanse.
concussive blows this time? Yes, you can. You don't have the cleanse. That's alright, and that's a kill for the LSE dog.
That's what I like to see from Born This Way. They're just coordinating really well there. Didn't work the first time around, works the second time around once those sums have been burned.
Are you
Talked
diving
about
this?
the fact that there's
No
no
way.
cleanse. There's no way, surely. No. Just gonna be content with that one kill. But yeah, Braum is such a nice gank partner because he can just tag down these targets so fast. And it's the same with TF. They've got so much pick potential in these comps. You've got so much CC, and it's not pleasant. If Aphelios doesn't have summoners, he's dead.
Definitely still opted for the lethal tempo this game, despite I don't think it being so easy to space against this team. Not a fan of that in this game, but it is still a good rune on the champion. Outside of that, as for gold lead, it is a slight advantage to Bristol given the nature of the game at 700 gold.
Absolutely, and yeah, Nick just so comfortable up here, and we talked about it in Champ Select. Macro are going to really have to show off later on, and he's not able to get an early CS advantage, but perhaps he's able to show off in these team fights. You can obviously do the play where you land your Fear Beyond Death ultimate, you kill someone, and then you flash to try and get the fear onto multiple targets, and we'll see that. That's such a staple Urgot play as he does engage here onto
Disdain
Nick.
coming through does land it, and this is why you don't generally want to use Disdain proactively as the Urgot in this matchup, as Nick is able to get away scot-free.
Yeah, Born This Way though, it doesn't look like he's done with this play.
Really wants to farm his form, but I don't know if he's going to get to. High is there. But I think that is both players just going to leave that one, I'm not going to lie.
Nick is just so happy up here. Look at this CS lead now. Gets to farm this entire wave for free, under no pressure now from the Urgot. And it's what we talked about. Macro just not able to get these early leads against Nick because he's just such a strong and stable top laner. And yeah, it's going to be rough for Macro now. 20 CS down. So really strong performance from Nick.
I think the next thing that we might be looking towards are these plays around the objectives. This Cloud Drake spawning and Herald. I'm just happy we're not going to get a Cloud Soul for this final game, honestly.
Yeah, you have to think that it's going to be either the Chemtech or the Hextech. I would love to see the Hextech one actually. We've seen too much of the Chemtech Soul in there.
Game-winning Soul
Another gank.
will be the flash away.
On this way.
Taking a lot of damage. Umbral Trespass will secure the
Okay.
kill, and you'd have to think he's getting close to his form in due course.
Very clean. What was I just talking about earlier? Twisted Fate and Braum, very good gank partners because they have so much gank setup for their jungler, and with that gold card you guarantee all of Kane's damage onto the Orianna, and that's exactly what Born This Way wants, and it looks like I think he's going to go blue Kane this game. Is that right?
Oh, I mean, he's currently building lethality. I mean, both forms can, but generally it is the
Probably
blue
it's better on
Cane
the
that
blue.
builds it. Generally, yeah, we do see the Gore Drinker more commonly for Rast. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a Mountain Drake up next, so we might get one of the more exciting souls today.
I certainly hope so. But we'll see. I would really like to see the Hextech Drake just to see. Oh, as we see a TF
Destiny
dive.
Gate forward will get
Good
knocked
ward
up by the ultimate, but Benuxus is taking a bit too much damage.
Oh,
Moonlight
Dan as
Vigil
well.
able to heal him up a little bit, but Braum will go down. Nibble still surviving the tower dive, but aggro nicely juggled from LSE, and that will be a double.
And Shen there just able to get that stand united, get the 2 assists, and then teleport straight back to the top lane. Although he is in risk of getting dived himself.
I think he's actually a-okay as long as he
Oh,
doesn't
he missed
use
the
his
taunt.
taunt badly, but he missed the taunt.
Oh, Macro.
Urgot misses the disdain though. This turret will not quite go down, but the plating will go down. Bonk getting traded on by Born This Way here, who has now claimed his blue Cane form.
Yeah, just very solid play for that bottom dive there. Nick just so on point, and they're so coordinated with these Stand United dives. Unfortunately, Braum just goes down, but two kill advantage there in that bottom dive, and you can see how helpless Benexus seems, especially without that wild growth. Nibble's obviously using the wild growth on himself to try and get the knock up, and it did work out and give him the Braum kill, but it leaves Benexus so vulnerable there when they use all of those ultimates on him.
Indeed, it does. Gold lead now in the favor of LSE, a minor one, but it is 800 gold, and a lead is a lead. Even at this point in the game, TF having 2 kills gets into that Everfrost quicker, and that can snowball into more kills as we see 2 flashes being burned, flash for flash. I think that's worth because that's on the AD carry.
This is where you start complaining in all chat for Benexus, because there's been so many visitors down here. It feels like he's laning against 4 people. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon with all of his summoners down now. He will obviously have heal up soon, but yeah, just really, really unpleasant. And Hi, for once, he is absolutely dominating now. He's leading the way. Yes, he is down CS, but you kind of expect it when you're teleporting all around the place. And Born this way.
Almost gets popped. He's looking to cash in some money with the first strike, and that he will do. Plus 36 gold in the chat. A lot of damage. Dragon's Rage not quite able to get the follow-up. Rocket claims the kill. Born this way coming back in. Moonlight Vigil actually doesn't secure it. Somehow Lulu got it. It's not exactly what you want in the thick of things. Concussive blows now marked, but this Calibrum turret is burning LSE Dog down. And at the moment, they don't have the damage. Manages to get the reset, though. But Nuxus, unable to do any more, might be able to root tag Zenith. Zap connects. Nibble might go down here if he's not careful. Not sure if you want to be where you are, tag Zenith, but I think if Elias is too low to be able to do anything about it. And that is a favorable trade for LSE.
What a series we have here. Both teams just playing all blinking life bars on both sides. Both teams playing fully to their limits on their champions. And wow, it's what a series we have here, Takua. I'm so excited to see how this ends and which team will be the victor and secure the varsity spot.
Yeah, it's great to see. We've had a very even game today. So much on the line. That varsity place is what everyone's vying for right now. And I will just note, this Kane has made 240 gold off of first strike 13 minutes into the game.
Okay, not too bad. Probably he wants a little bit more at this early stage, but he will obviously get more as the game progresses. But I'm not sure I'm not sure what to think of this first strike rune just yet. I feel like it's much better used on long range champions, but where you can kind of guarantee this first strike. Because on Kane, you actually have to get yourself in there to try and proc that first strike. And I think he just prefers the Conqueror rune or even a Predator rune, for example.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure how the math goes on that, but it's a decent injection of gold this early into the game. As for other advantages, we do see Bonk and Nick with a CS lead. Of course, though, in the mid lane, Hi does have those 2 kills. A little bit disappointing, maybe, for this Urgot performance.
Yeah, I think it's tough here. I think even though Macro is most comfortable here on it, Nick is just he plays weak side so well, and it doesn't feel like weak side when he's playing. It feels like strong side because he's just able to get such a CS advantage, and we've seen it in time and time again in each of these 3 games. And I'd much prefer Macro to have been on the Malphite again, just because he can enable these engages, and it would have been a really combination with the Orianna. But he opts for comfort, and he does, interestingly enough, go for the Hull Breaker. As we see a fight in the mid lane.
Gates activating as the Nuxus is overextended.
Oh, this poor
LSE Dog cashes in their gold card. Glacial Fissure, Taunt, Lockdown, but not enough damage to be able to secure anything more out of that. Shockwave hits 2 though, and that might be what Bristol needed to get back into this game.
Ball this way.
Going forward, LSE Dog is massive with Fishbones. Getting a double here. Will that be another kill? That's an ace for LSE. 15 minutes in the game.
Wow, that was unbelievable there from both sides. Bonks getting the shockwave on 2 members, and we think, oh my gosh, the team fight's turning. But Dog, he's a good boy at the end of the day, because he has been getting so many kills on this Jinx. In all of the games, we saw him from behind in the second game, just perform so well, but now ahead, 7 kills. He's not behind in this game. He's absolutely dominating with those kills he got in the resets, and you know, it's just unbelievable that he's able to just perform so well. And from the side of Bristol now, it's a case of you're typing to your team, focus Jinx, because that's where all the gold is. And it wasn't there last game, but it's there now.
Doggy Dog getting their treats tonight for sure. 7, 1, and 3. Bristol will be able to get this Herald, but it is second Herald. However, Born This Way might have something to say about it. TP in from both teams, so we are getting a skirmish around this. Lee Sin does claim a shockwave hits one, but it's not going to do anything. Flash taunt forward from Nick. Jinx gets a reset. Can they get anything more out of it? Born This Way won't connect the W, but will connect an Umbral Trespass.
Oh, the flash vision
forward. Connect onto Macro. Gold card, not enough range, and I think LSE will back out of that play with the 1 kill onto Bonks.
Yeah, and one thing I just really want to point out this game, we saw how proficient Bonks was in this game. Actually, is the play might be over. Okay, it does look like they're content with this tower. But Bonks doesn't look comfortable on this Orianna. He does look like he's struggling a little bit. Perhaps that's because of the pick potential of the enemy team. But he just seems a little bit outranged this game. It seems like he's struggling to get some of these some of this damage off in these fights, and it's not as easy as when he's on the LeBlanc and you can just dart around and get these kills. It's a lot harder to play Orianna, especially into this comp.
Yeah, Bonks maybe. I know, feeling the pressure in this game 3. Been on that LB for 2 games, you have a bit of a change of pace, change of rhythm. And I could definitely see that reflected in his performance this game. But it's not over yet for Bristol. The gold lead might be in LSE's favour, but it is only 17 minutes. You have ways back in. You have you have scaling on the Orianna and the Aphelios. And what do you think that Bristol should prioritise right now?
Well, they're going to... Oh, actually, as we just see another fight.
Prioritize a play in the bot line. Stand United. Fear Beyond Death gonna bring out slow.
Here comes Born This Way.
Turn this one around. Destiny Gate as well. Doesn't
very
get
deep.
a gold card. Will be a red card. Tower going down. Born This Way very low. Managing to keep up a little bit. And I think LSE just have too much gold in the game. 2 kills right now. Bolts will be a 3rd. LSE Dog is legendary. Can he get a full flash forward? Hula Hoop of Death. Crescendum on everybody, but I don't think he can do any more. Lockdown for eternity, and LSE claims another 9, 1, and 4 on this Jinx. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think it's really, really tough for Bristol to come back now. Yes, they will get the objective bounties, right? They're getting to a point now where they're behind, where those objective bounties will start to become a factor. And we saw them in the last game. It's not over yet for Bristol, but it's looking really, really difficult, especially with the Jinx this far ahead and this protected. Brom, again, doing just such a great job of keeping us safe. And Born This Way can just do whatever the hell he wants on this Kane. He can just absolutely fly into the enemy team and do the damage he needs to do and get out. He was actually saved there by the kick from Axe. But Nick obviously showing why he's so proficient on the Shen again, landing another 2-man taunt. And just absolutely shutting Bonks out of the game.
I mean, credit where it's due. Nick has been a massive player for LSE this entire series, acting as that facilitator to be able to engage and make plays across the map. The Lee Sin Ack will drop down this Rift Herald in mid lane, but it is likely it will just... Okay, it will get the charge off. That will be a bounty and that mid lane turret claimed.
What we were talking about, right? If you can start getting these bounties, it's much needed gold into your team and much needed gold into your Aphelios. It's actually the reverse of last game where Bernuxis is actually in Jinx's position from last game. He doesn't have those items he needs to be able to do the damage to the likes of Shen, to the likes of Tier, and he needs those objective bounties and picks in these last
the Shockwave Calibrum
the Shen shield.
Stand United is there to protect him. Stand United indeed. Umbral Trespass in the middle of the team. That might have been a bit too deep, but I think have so much damage in this little dog over here. Shooting them down with the zap, and that will be a double for the dog in the bot lane.
A double into another Drake here. See the potency of ADCs on both sides. Bernuxis doing extremely well in that last fight as well. 2 picks down for Bristol, obviously. The top side, we talked about, look at the top side this game. Look at the top side this game, and it's very, very favoured to the side of London. He's Urgot really struggling this game, down in CS, down in levels, and Nick just taking over, and he's enabling with the combination of Braum. He's enabling the Jinx so well.
Jinx is absolutely on lock and engaged right now. 11-1 and 4. 3 items of a GA moving towards that Infinity Edge right now. We look on the enemy team. Urgot doesn't even have a mythic yet.
Yeah, it's really rough. Usually expect him to kind of rush towards this Titanic, but I'm not really sure about this hull breaker early, especially when you're against the Nick and he's quite far ahead, right? He's got the Thorn Mail as well, and when are you ever going to be hitting towers by yourself this game? I'm not really sure about his itemization choice. I'd have much preferred the Titanic rush, then potentially into your mythic. I just think hull breaker is such a luxury item, especially when you're behind. But one thing I do want to kind of draw attention to is the amount of space that Jinx has in these team fights. She has people, she has the gold cards coming in to stun the targets. She has Braum protecting her, and Aphelios on the other side. He just feels suffocated. He can't play the game into this amount of CC coming in, and the dive from Born this way.
It does feel a bit like maybe having that cleanse might have helped, although Macro, I think you're overextended, just gonna die to this Kayn here. We'll be able to dish out a lot of damage in return, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and it's just looking really rough for Bristol here.
Wow, Destiny into Stand United really making good use of this global presence that you have with both of these champions. Nice flash.
Nick there missing. Oh,
Dunk
close
God.
there from Bonks. Almost a solo
No
kill, but
way.
he looks like he's going to be...
No.
Oh, poor Bonks.
It's not quite it. Umbral Trespass seals the deal right there. That is
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Hello, Red.
Speechless.
I'm actually speechless.
That was a lot of damage, and if you're not usually seeing Blue Kayn in these games, it's shocking, right? You forget how much damage you do because most people go kind of Red Kayn, but a good Blue Kayn is just going to absolutely one-shot you, and you saw the damage from his W there. But yeah, it's rough for London to come back now, barring kind of an Aphelios, barring a situation where London dives like Malphite did in that last game. I think it's pretty set here for London.
Yeah, that is nearing a 10k gold lead. That's very decisive at this point in the game. 23 minutes, 10k gold lead, massive item advantage. Jinx is moving towards 4, TF moving towards 3, Kayn now having that Prowler's Claw finished, and a few minutes later, and Urgot has still yet to finish his mythic, looking for a Titanic Flydray first instead.
Yeah, I think Bristol are a little bit struggling here. Potentially slightly a bit of mental boom from that last game. They were so ahead in that last game, and they threw it just at the last few team fights. And I think it's really showing in this game, and they're just not able to keep the gold lead as stable as it has been in the first 2 games. And this kind of a gold deficit, no objective bounties are going to save you from this.
Thing is, you have a Stand United and you have a Destiny. It's really difficult to play into a team that has 2 global options with a
Absolutely.
Kayn that can move so quickly throughout the map, get in and out.
Yeah, and
As we see this being leveraged again, Macro might just be trading his life for some tower damage here.
At least he does get to use that hull breaker a little bit, but not going to be enough there. Macro kind of a little bit of hope there, overextending. He just wants to try and get as much gold. He wants to get this Titanic Hydra, but he's just delaying his mythic so much from this hull breaker. But we're seeing both solo laners working so well together on the side of London. Nick and Hi just working in combination with each other with these dives, and you can't kill the diver because there's so many shields coming through.
Getting some burger flipping coming through here on Bristol. Really going for this 4v5
Desperation.
drag.
Oh my
Lulu
goodness.
just gets evaporated. Bonks in the middle of 3 people. LSE Doll getting shielded by Shen.
I think that's just game.
The unstoppable tide of LSE. Maybe denying Bristol their first attempt at this varsity place.
Yeah, London looking to secure their varsity spot here. Another almost an ace there, and the only reason Macro didn't die was because he died in that previous play. They're going to pick up the Baron, and they could do whatever the hell they want because they're so far ahead. Jinx almost already has a 4th item at 25 minutes into the game. And it's just such a dominating performance. And Bonks hasn't been able to get a sniff in this game. He's just been completely shut down by Hai and Shen.
And it really makes you wonder what went wrong. What happened to this team for them to perform so well, so evenly? And now we look at this top side, 0-5-2, 0-6-5, 0-7-3. What went wrong?
I think it's just really, really tough to come back, especially when you're in the when you're in a position where you think you're going to win, and then you absolutely throw the game in game two. It can be such a mental gap to come back from, and then when some slight thing goes wrong in this game, it can all come crumbling apart. And London just being really cohesive this game. They're so on point with their dives. They're so on point just with protecting Jinx. And Jinx hasn't at all been touched this game. 1 death, 13 kills. Look at the bounties though. And if anything, that could be a win condition from the side of Bristol. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Even if they do get their shutdowns, they just can't kill Jinx. She's so well protected. You have to deal with the divers of the TF and Shen, and you have to peel her, and it's all on the Lulu to do that. But it comes down to that cleanse again on the Philios. He doesn't have cleanse, and if he ever gets stunned, he's just a bot. He's just stunned forever, and he can't do any damage as Born this way.
A lot this game as Macro is in for a treat, and that treat is Born this way. LSE Dog securing the kill with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Oriana getting a lockdown by Hi over the wall. And LSE claiming their pride for the varsity
last
spot.
minute kick.
Early, I think.
And that looks like it's going to be game.
You did what you could, but it's just not enough. Flash forward. Wild cards. Lulu ultimate. But it's
London
not enough.
Leviathans just securing their varsity position here, absolutely snowballing this game, and just demolishing Bristol in this final game.
Wow.
What an absolutely emphatic performance from London. And they have secured their position in varsity. Congratulations to them. Bristol will have to go through to the double elimination bracket. Now they've got another chance at trying to make bracket, another chance at trying to make varsity. I think they're either against the winner of KC Lions and another team I can't recall off the top of my head. But what a series.
Absolutely. I mean, we started off with two of the bloodiest and most chaotic games, leading to that comeback in the last 5 minutes of game two with the throw right at the end for Bristol. Really well played from both teams. Bristol was so dominant early on, but I think LSE just managed to triumph over them right at the end there. Good luck to Bristol for their last match, of course. That next best of three they have to play for the varsity qualification, of course. And again, congratulations to LSE for being able to secure that spot.
Yeah, I believe they can do it. They've already got a team in varsity, and Bristol showed us what they're made of here. Yes, they didn't get the victory, but they have another chance in double elimination. I think we're going to see 2 Bristol teams in the varsity bracket. That's just my guess.
Fingers crossed we do see that, of course. And another big thank you to our sponsors, SteelSeries and Intel, for being able to provide us with this broadcast today. And to that end, of course, our amazing production team for being able to support us through this as well today, of course. And thank you to our admin, Gio, as well, to be able to make sure everything's set up smooth and making sure that games are running properly. I hope you've enjoyed this best of 3 today. I know I have. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you next week for the prize playoff finals.